Hello? Anyone?
Hello? I have cat now.
Okay, so we are back. Sorry, something's going on with the internet. I don't know what's going on.
Our internet just went like kaput there for a minute.
So. Try this again.
I don't
Hey,
know
Looper.
where I left off. So,
Thank you, cat skills. Why was she wet?
I'm just gonna assume that you all heard my spiel about the Dragon's Garden and 49 Other Forest Encounters. If you didn't, you missed a good speech, because it's a great Kickstarter and you should go back it. I'm gonna move on to the next thing. It's called The Blood Queen's Defiance. And it is a... It is basically a one-shot. Blood Queen's Defiance. It's basically a one-shot that you can run without a DM. You basically just draw random cards for encounters, and then you end up doing the whole thing. Obviously, it's not going to be as exciting as playing like regular D&D, and you're not going to be as free to make the choices that you want, but it's still pretty fun if like you're a DM and you need a break, or if you are a group that wants to play but doesn't have a DM. It's definitely worth taking a look at. It's got 2 days left. It's called Blood Queen's Defiance. Next is Cyanide and Happiness's new game after Joking Hazard. It's called Trial by Trolley. There's a trolley man, and you have to decide which track he's going to use. The twist is that on the track there are things that are obviously going to die, and you're separated into two teams while you play, and your team is trying to convince the conductor, who is just a random player, to choose the other team's track so that all those people die. It's hilarious. The cards are hysterical. I will say mature content because it is, but it's hysterical. I looked at one of the updates today, and they're doing a thing where backers can choose which track, like they're doing just during the Kickstarter campaign, they're like letting the backers choose which way the trolley goes. We're playing the game as backers, and today was absolutely hysterical. Go watch the video because I laughed my ass off at work. It was hilarious.
I had to ask him if he was okay.
What's this? Adam O. Hart? Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome
Thank
to the
you.
neighborhood.
We're doing a Gen Con stream. Perhaps you were here because of this.
That puts us
Welcome.
only 10 followers.
10
from our goal.
followers away from our goal. Continue Kickstarter Corner.
Trial by Trolley has 9 days left. Cyanide and Happiness is a great cartoon. Joking Hazard is a great game. I have no doubt that this game is going to be just as fun. And it's got 9 days, so it'll be great. The next thing is called Tailspire. It is an online tool to help you run your Dungeons and Dragons game. It's basically like a 3D map that you can use. DMs can use the builder to like build your dungeon that you want to play, and then you can customize minis that play on the map. It's great. It's a tool just like Roll20 or
Princess, thank you for the 50 biddies.
or other Dungeons and Dragons tools that you use online. But I think this one has a lot of character. They've been doing alpha for 6 months. After the Kickstarter campaign is over, they're going to be doing a beta for 6 months, and backers will be able to jump in on the beta. And then when they eventually go live, backers will have early access to the final product. If nothing else, just go check out the Kickstarter page because it looks really cool. And even if you can't back it now, when it finally does go live, being able to use it, I think, will be a blessing for a lot of people. Next is a new game to the list. It's called Materia Prima, The Alchemist Guild. And this is a board game where you're all playing as individual alchemists who are trying to go around and collect ingredients to fill recipes. And it's just a very cute game that has not it doesn't have the mechanics that your everyday games have. But what's also really cool is that as alchemist, you can create homunculi to help you out with your recipes and stuff, and the homunculi are precious, and definitely worth a shot. I think it's also pretty relatively affordable as well, but Kickstarter won't bring it up for me. Nope. But it's called Materia Prima, and it just looks interesting. And it's a concept that I personally enjoy because you're mixing science and magic. Next, 15 days left on this one. It's like a physical deck of many things. The designer has put together a gorgeous group of cards that you can use just for like regular tarot cards in your everyday life if that's what you're into, but you can also use it for your RPG games, so you can actually have a physical deck of many things that you can have your players draw from, and I think that's great, and also it's very pretty. That has 15 days left. Next is another new thing. It's called Trudvang Legends. 16 days left on this. There are a lot of people on Kickstarter who are very hype about this game. It's a big game. Like, this is a solid one. The base pledge is $100, but you're getting a whole bunch of minis and a big old game that you're going to get to play. I know that is a price that's up above where most people can spend, but I wanted to toss it in here because there are people that are very excited about it, and there's also people that really love games that have really nice minis that come with it. Next is Anxiety Attack. We talked about this last week. Basically, this is a game where you have to push your opponents to the edge of their anxiety level while also trying to keep yourself calm, and you're winding your way down like a Candyland or Chutes and Ladders type game board, trying to get to the end without having a panic attack, and I think that's a hilarious concept.
So hilarious.
Well, it would just be fun to play. Like, anxiety attacks are not real.
I agree.
I mean, it's a real deal, but in the game, I think it's hysterical.
No, I think as someone who, has those occasionally, I too think it would be very funny to play.
That has 16 days left. Next is a tabletop RPG intro game. It's called Magical Kitties Save the City. And one of their big selling points is that it's very easy to learn this system. They recommend it for children who want to get into RPGs. They recommend it for parents who want to play games with their kids. I think it looks great. I personally would play it. But basically, you're just playing as cats who are reacting to people and living their life in the outside world and stuff. And the mechanics are very simple, and like I said, it's a good introduction. And I love that we're in a place now with the hobby, not just board games, but tabletop and RPG in general, where we are trying to introduce kids to these more sort of higher thinking, like problem-solving type deals that will also let them grow and evolve into Pathfinder, into D&D after they get through this Magical Kitties Save the Day. And like they
still want to play Magical Kitties Save the Day.
Yeah, I think it looks great. And this is another one where you can just back at the minimum level where it's like a very affordable price, and you only get the print and play edition. So you may not get a physical book, but you'll get a PDF that you can print out, and you're not breaking the bank, and you can still play the game. That has 17 days left on it. This next one is a new one. I tossed this in at the end of the day while I was just scrolling through Kickstarter. These are 5e character sheets, but they're booklets and printed on plastic, so you can use dry erase markers on it. So if you want to like have a character sheet on the go, or you like just want to have like a temporary thing where you're just doing a one shot and you don't want to have to print out so many sheets, you can use these dry erase boards it's a full character sheet, it's just dry erase. And again, this is a tool that you can use for your RPG to just make it more accessible. There's a lot of Kickstarters right now that are just making D&D and RPGs in general easier to run and easier to be a part of, and I support that 150%. And on top of that, this is the last one. It's called Dungeon Craft, Build Your Own Battle Maps. It's a spiral notebook that has pages and pages and pages of map building tools that you can cut out and use and reuse and use again, and you don't have to worry about drawing your maps out. You can just toss these bushes out. You can make a path with this stuff. And what's cool about this one is, one, it's made by a friend of a friend, and two, after you cut them out, it's not like they're going to be loosey-goosey and you have to find a way to transport them. The spiral notebook has folders in it so you can keep the pieces after you've cut them out and continue to take them with you. That is Derek's Kickstarter Corner. I will say that a lot of things that we've talked about in the past, Dwellings of Eldervale, Oceans, Fat Cat expansion to Raccoon Tycoon, all of this stuff is going to be available at Gen Con to look at or play or, test or whatever. Potemkin Empire, which is a game that I backed, was actually designed by a guy that the three of us met last year at Gen Con. We play tested a game that he was working on, and then I reached out to him a couple months ago just trying to see if he was going to be back at Gen Con, if he had any games that were coming out, and that's how he drew me to Potemkin Empire, and that's why I backed it. Now I'm telling you guys, and it's going to be available at Gen Con for you to buy. And then after Gen Con, it's going to be available for you to get online. But I say all that to come back to this hobby is something that is community driven, and the people, because this is our Gen Con hype stream, I will say that last year was our first year at Gen Con, and we made relationships and talked to people there that have influenced this stream and the Kickstarter Corner and stuff that we've talked to you guys about. So if you're going to Gen Con, make those connections, talk to people that you wouldn't normally talk to. I highly recommend going to the playtest room because you do get to play games before they are completed, and then you can, stay in the loop and play those games when they're done.
It's also a free event.
It is free. But Derek's Kickstarter Corner and this show came from Gen Con last year. So we're very thankful for it. Also, again, all of the links to everything that I talked about are in the Kickstarter Corner. If you missed some of it, or if I got cut off during talking about Dragon Garden and 49 other forest encounters, go check it out. I'm going to push that one hard because I'm very excited for it. But that's Derek's Kickstarter Corner.
When the time comes for a new game to play, there's just one place to turn at the end of the day. You never know what exciting game you'll see when you tune in to Board Game House on Twitch.tv. Find a game to back so you can be its owner. It's time once again for Derek's Kickstarter Corner.
Ding dong! Cyram 71.
Thanks for joining the neighborhood.
The cup is
Welcome.
so full!
Thank you so much for the follow. Oh, I saw that braid in my hair.
That means we're only 9 followers away.
9 followers away.
All right, so Gen Con. Before we get into too
Best
much, I do want to say something. I know that there are people in the community that are not able to go this year for any multitude of reasons. We are super excited about it because, like Derek said, this stream did kind of, a lot of what we're doing did kind of come from Gen Con first. But know that we love you guys and want you guys to be there, and hopefully by being nauseated and annoyed by us talking about it this year, you'll come join us next year. Gives you a full 365 days. So,
Gives an angry look at the Atlantic Ocean. But it's a pretty view at least.
Oh, Satai! Thank you so much
much.
for that subscription. 3 months in a row. What does that get them? Also, woohoo, there goes the biddies.
A wreath, probably. I think.
and here's the Doge bits.
Happy Doge butts.
Yes. No, it's not.
So wait, would that be a corgi butt? Because that's kind of like a loaf butt.
It
No.
is kind of a love butt.
Wait. Okay. 3 months is a wreath. 6 months is... No. I don't remember.
Sub is a mailbox.
Right.
3 months is a wreath.
Sure.
6 months was a gnome.
No, 9 months is a gnome because it's a
9 months
baby.
is a gnome? Oh, yeah. 6 months.
Waving back at you.
6
What
months.
is 6 months?
Welcome, Matt?
No, why would that be 6 months? Why would you have to wait so long for that?
I don't remember.
Either way, but we also do want to go to other cons as well. Like, we're looking at possibly going to PAX Unplugged and stuff. So hopefully we'll come to areas close to you guys as well. So that way, if you can't come to Indianapolis, maybe we'll come somewhere near you.
I think we're going to PAX Unplugged. Probably. It's not a guaranteed thing, but we're thinking about going to PAX Unplugged in December. So if you're an East Coaster and you live up in the New England area, drive on down to Philadelphia. We'll see you there.
I don't know that I'll
Maybe.
be able to get off for all of the days.
Well, no, probably just
It's
like
just a
Saturday
Friday.
and
the
Sunday.
weekend days.
Yeah. We may take off Friday, just one day.
I don't know if I can do that.
Okay, well, we can
So.
find out. Anyways, we'll try Alkali.
Well-
I like going to Canada personally.
I've never been to Canada.
I've never been to Canada.
I have.
I've never been to a place where I needed a passport.
What do you call those fries that have the curds on them?
Poutine.
Poutine.
It's got gravy on it.
I don't like gravy.
All right, so let's get into Gen Con. Do we want to start with our questions from the chat? Would they ask me anything? Do we want to talk about games first?
I think we should start with the
Events.
questions.
All right. So we're going to start with some questions from you that were posted in our Discord.
If you have more questions, you can put them into the chat, or you can jump over to our Discord and add them
Ask
to the
them
Host
in-
AMA
yeah.
question thing.
Yeah, you
channel.
put in their last call. I've made people think that like they
There
wouldn't
is
be
no
able
such
to
thing as a
do
last
it.
call.
I didn't know how else to word put your damn questions in here.
Okay. So our first question comes from our friend Ember, and they asked, when/where did you get the idea to first start the streaming on Twitch?
Gen Con last year.
Okay. Gen Con last year started out as we wanted to go see Critical Role live.
Correct.
That was the whole reason for us going, and we're like, we all enjoyed board games, and we had a okay sized collection, probably just over 100 games or so, after Gen Con last year. And so, after doing that and watching, Critical Role and all these things, like, we had a lot of fun playing. We're like, you know what? There's not really anybody playing a whole lot of board games on the internet, or not. There's not a lot of people doing that. It's not like people playing Fortnite. So why not try it? So I sent them I sent these two a message about 9 to 10 months ago, and just said, "Hey, I did a thing."
And then send us the link.
And then sent them the link to the channel.
That's not exactly how it went down,
It's-
because we also had to talk about the name for the channel and like what did we want to be called.
No, I just remember him saying I did a thing because we had
The
previously.
name was
talked-
without your
we
guys'
had,
knowledge.
No, we had kind of talked about Board Game House,
Mm-hmm.
but we hadn't really like put anything in stone. And then he's like, I did a thing, and then
And now Monday, Wednesday, and
Here we
Friday, I
are.
can't do anything in the evenings.
So yeah, that's,
But it's okay. But that's how it happened. But it started because after we left Indianapolis last year on our 5-hour drive home, the biggest thing that we were talking about was almost every single thing that we did, whether it was the playtest room or like going to see Critical Role live. We also went to the Geek and Sundry thing. Gen Con is just a place where a bunch of people took what they were passionate about and made it a career. And like I think that hit each of us in like a really deep place where none of us were really happy in the job that we were doing. And then
I had actually just gotten released from a job.
so like we were all sort of floating, and then we jump into Gen Con and everybody's like, "Oh, we love board games. We love what we do now. This is our passion." And then, you come to the realization that you're about to just drive home to like your bullshit job again. So we were able to do this where obviously it's not like a job, like we're not going to be able to live off of this, but it's also something that we can put our passion, our time into It's a lot of time that we put into this.
Yes. But it also allows us to share the hobby with a lot of you. Like, I've seen pictures in the Discord of, people like, hey, I'm looking at getting a new game. What do you guys think? Or, hey, this is my game shelf.
Pint-sized princess.
And we'll
Mr.
see...
Valley.
We'll see, like, games that we played on stream. And it's good to know that, you guys are enjoying us, enjoying what we're doing, and that you guys are actually getting something out of it as well. And the biggest, I think, surprise for all of us out of all this is the community. The amount that you guys support us and support each other is insane, because where we started to where we are now is, I can't describe to you guys the difference. I really wish I had a picture of, like, the very first stream setup with, like, the two cameras.
From shore somewhere.
The two cameras, like, gaff tape to a mic stand.
He put together this job where it was like a giant PVC cage, and like
Set
he was
on the table.
That was the second iteration.
and he was like he
that
had
the second
stuff.
iteration?
The first
taped
iteration
to
was
it,
that mic stand.
and it was Garbo, and now we have a garbage table that has 4 TVs, 2 computers, a phone, a microphone, and a shit ton of cable on it.
And when we say garbage table, we mean literal garbage table, aka the person that lives like 2 houses down from us
They moved out, and they left
and
this
they
table
left a
in the
bunch
street.
of stuff in their trash, and these 2 went and grabbed it.
Also, that's where the cushion to this couch came from.
Literal garbage table.
It's an old folding table, but it's solid and sturdy. And we used to have so much stuff that we had to have something to hold it all.
The podcast days. You all, our first not to be spoken of stream was a stream of raids, and it was essentially a podcast.
Well, raids the game, not raids people actually rating us.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because we were not good enough for that.
We weren't good enough when people started rating us. Thanks, Polly.
Yeah.
The first person who ever rated us was Hearts Board Games.
Yes.
And that was whenever we had a crapshoot still. And we freaked out.
Yeah. The fact that, like, we've had a little bit of tech issues today is very uncommon, because we've upgraded the computer and things like... We used to have an issue where, like, we were worried we were dropping frames constantly because our CPU usage was just through the roof. So, yeah. All right. So that was the first question.
She's being so good. I don't want to touch her.
Catskills ask, what is our favorite jam or jelly?
I love a raspberry jam.
I have one and no one is going... I doubt either of you have tried it.
What?
I actually have 2. Crabapple jelly. If you've never had crabapple jelly, a good homemade crabapple jelly, please go try it. It's delicious. I haven't had it in years because no one around here makes it. And then pepper jelly.
Ugh, I don't like
I
the
love
pepper jelly.
Pepper jelly. With a little bit of cream cheese on crackers. Delicious. Specifically
No.
the green pepper jelly.
No.
I like Kentucky jelly.
What is Kentucky? Is that bourbon?
Never mind. Actually, my favorite jelly
Is it
would...
horse sperm?
No.
What is it?
What's the abbreviation for Kentucky? Actually, my favorite jam or jelly is not actually a jam or jelly.
Boo. Bad joke.
Is actually apple butter, which I would kind of say is kind of in that same vein.
No, it's a jam.
Um,
Well, you have to
It's like
mash.
more like applesauce.
You have to mash the apples and then let it cure, and then it's the same
But
thing
yeah.
you do for.
I mean, I'm a
jam.
fan of like a strawberry jelly, but also I like apple butter. Like, I'm talking like the Amish made, gotta go to Amish country to get it, apple
You
butter.
don't have to go to.
Or the
Amish
Pumpkin
I've made
Festival.
apple butter before.
Pumpkin Festival has really good apple butter. Well, from what I heard, I don't actually particularly care for apple butter, but
Well, you're wrong.
it's a texture thing.
But yeah. So,
It's just crushed up apples.
That's why I don't eat applesauce either. I don't like
apple butter barbecue sauce?
Mm-hmm. It tastes like apple butter, but it's got the spice and kick of a barbecue sauce. It's great.
I would definitely try that. Alright, next question comes from our friend...
Chalice, obviously, if you don't crush your apple butter, you're a very patient person. I don't operate that way. Once they're soft enough to squish, I squish.
Alright, our next question comes from our friend Mr. RBG. What is your perfect Sunday? The day, wise. what do you consider your perfect Sunday?
I would think like maybe like kayaking on the river, and then like some good food.
I would agree with that. Kayaking with friends, and then maybe like a cookout, like bonfire kind of thing. That would be a lot of fun. Now I want to do that.
I don't need friends.
Oh, aren't with Megan. Thank you, DKSB.
I think mine too. I would like to do something outdoors where it's not too hot, either hiking, kayaking,
Don't get her riled
I
up.
didn't do this.
some type of outdoor activity where you just kind of enjoy the day and get some fresh air. And then the follow-up question to this is, what's your perfect Sunday?
Caramel.
Bunch of vanilla ice cream. One of them is drizzled in caramel. One of them has sour gummies on it, and the other one is pretty much just straight ice cream. But I also like homemade ice cream, like you put it in a bucket and with the salt and let it get up there.
I don't think there's anything better than homemade ice cream. I'll be honest. Oof. I just like caramel.
Fruit, like fresh strawberries and stuff in
If
there.
you're talking fresh fruit, then yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of basic, you know. I do like a strawberry on it. I do like a chocolate drizzle,
No, it's too much.
sprinkles, maybe some whipped cream.
I'm not
No.
a big sprinkles fan.
I love sprinkles.
No.
Not a big sprinkles fan.
No.
What else we got?
Well, if you do, you have to send some to us. It may be slightly melted.
Slightly.
All right.
Only slightly.
Next question comes from our friend Tiger Planet, who was our very first follower. How long have you had your gaming pet peeves, and what are their names?
I don't think I understand the question.
No, I'm kidding.
You have gaming pet peeves, Derek.
I don't.
Like pet peeves that people do when gaming.
Like, analysis paralysis is
Yours
one
is
of
a
your pet
big
peeves.
Beating
analysis
me.
paralysis one. People taking too long.
Telling me that I can't cheat. People that take too long is annoying.
People that cheat.
People who don't pay attention when I'm explaining the rules. And then I have to continually answer questions.
Alpha.
Hi, Alpha!
Um,
Yeah, that one's big for me because, like, if I'm explaining the rules, please don't. At least try to comprehend. I understand if you're not a person who can, like, focus on rules when someone's talking at you, but, like, if I'm also showing you or we're playing, don't be on your phone while I'm trying to tell you how to play, because then you're just going to ask me questions that I've already covered, and that's going to annoy me.
all right.
I put something in the Discord the other day, and it is me to an absolute T. It was the one about me silently raging while explaining the rules for like the third time or something like that.
All right. Next question comes from Ember again, and it is actually for Megan. What is your favorite makeup to wear on stream? And this actually got this as well, so somebody else agreed with that question.
Who this it, so I can
I don't
also
know.
talk to them. You can see who it is.
Not on.
Yeah, you can.
Tap that shit.
Hold it. Reactions. Oh, Rachel.
She's eating.
And she's eating. All right. So I think I saw this one, and I was going to make a list of what it was, and
You did.
I didn't.
Sure.
Most of my makeup's really cheap
Mm-hmm.
because I'm cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So the most expensive thing that I use is my foundation, and that is Fenty, Rihanna's brand. It's the best. I love it. NYX concealer for highlights. NYX, it's like a little thing for the contouring. Morph palette for the eyeshadow. I think it's NYX, the matte for the eyeliner. An NYX thing for the eyebrows. and I don't remember what my mascara is.
What about lips?
It goes back and forth. I really like the Sephora lip stain that isn't actually a lip stain, but it stays for like ever. So that's what I use.
Derek, what do you use?
No, this is all natural, man. Beauty sleep.
All right. Next question. What is each? This comes from our friend Arliel. What is each of your favorite games you've played on or off stream? So, Morris, what's your favorite game? Or top 3?
I really love Carcassonne. Settlers of Catan. And Lords of Waterdeep.
Mystic Vale. Still takes the top spot for me.
Mine always kind of changes a little bit, but it's always going to be some type of worker placement. So Stone Age or Champions of Midgard or Lords of Waterdeep, something in that vein.
Is there something we haven't played on stream that we like? It's not gonna work on stream.
Shadows. We're still trying to figure that out.
Oh yeah, we're still trying to figure out Shadows in the Forest. I really do like Shadows in the Forest though.
But we'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah. Next question.
Next question. Okay, Pint Size, I'm actually going to skip over your question because this one we're going to talk about in a little bit because her question is, what boosts / activities are you most excited about for a Gen Con?
We will talk about that when we get to the Gen Con section.
Yeah.
The rest of the Gen Con section.
Okay. G wants to know, are there any things you wish you packed last year but didn't? So anything you packed last year that
wish that we packed that I didn't?
Yes.
Water bottle. I didn't have a water bottle.
Okay.
And water bottles are stupid expensive at the convention center. Drinks are stupid expensive at the convention center. I think I got 3 drinks for us, and it was like $20, and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing this again.
You also got some type of snack or something, too.
No. That was the day I literally just got us drinks.
Because they were so expensive?
Yes.
We, Megan and I, we went and bought new Brita water bottles to take this year so we can just fill them up at a water fountain.
And now that is inside the convention center. The prices at the food trucks are not...
They're not bad.
They're not actually horrible.
It's food truck prices. Like, it's more expensive than going fast food, but I think the food is better. It's just food truck. It's food truck prices. It's not more expensive because it's during Gen Con.
Yeah, but they do have, like, water fountains and stuff there as well. It is much more convenient to have a water bottle.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think that the food trucks were overpriced.
Except for the macaroni and cheese.
Okay, but was it really? Because it was like a pound of mac and cheese.
It was a brick.
No, but still, it was pricey.
All right. And then Sunny has a follow-up. Is there anything you packed that you wish you hadn't to save room for games?
I am an overpacker. I always pack extra clothes for no reason.
Well, you never know if, like, something's gonna happen.
Right, like, I have a reason, but I don't really need it. But, like, there's not, like, because we drive, it's not like I have a limited amount of space for the stuff I can buy. And now I have a big car, so...
The one thing that I'm going to... This kind of is a piece of advice / something I packed last year I'm not going to pack this year. Some type of fancier dress shoes. Screw that shit. Tennis shoes, be comfortable.
Why did you pack fancy dress shoes?
Well, I packed, like, nicer shoes.
Well, we went to that masquerade, too.
I wore tennis shoes.
You wore, because that's you. I wore heels.
Yeah. So, as much as possible, comfy footwear.
You only need one pair of shoes, people. Make it comfortable. You're going to be walking around the convention center and outside for 4 days.
I've heard to bring, like, 2 pairs and, like, switch back and forth so your foot doesn't get, like, tired within one shoe.
Also, if your feet stink.
But yeah, that's
Hey.
probably the biggest thing is, don't overpack on clothing. Stay comfortable the whole time. If you're somebody that gets cold, you may want to have a light jacket or a sweatshirt or something you carry with you at the con because it can get cold inside the convention center. If
Not
you're
on the floor, but like in the hallways, they keep it chilly to try and cool off. Everywhere else, it doesn't work, but like a light jacket.
But yeah, a light jacket or something just in case, or like if you're actually sitting down doing something, like it got kind of chilly during the CR panel.
Yeah, I did get chilly in the
It got a little chilly when we were playing 1776 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting down playing a game, it can get a little bit chilly. So make sure you maybe have like a jacket, but understand it's supposed to be like mid 80s all week, and it's supposed to be nice out, which is great. But yeah. So don't overpack clothes, but still maybe have like a light jacket or a pullover or something to keep yourself warm. It's too late to get your BGH hoodie. Next thing. Yeah, none of us do. Alright, our friend Chris wants to know, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? African or European? Always the answer.
Which is a question to a question.
Mm-hmm. And then another question that Chris had was, what game will be a must-buy at Gen Con for you? What game do you look forward to trying out the most? That, again, we'll probably cover with our...
Yep.
Okay.
Chilly in this context is, I imagine that they have the thermostat in the convention center set to about 65 degrees, which, if there aren't people walking around, which is most of the hallways, it is cold in the hallways, but obviously in the floor space, it gets very warm in there because of the body heat. But it's also going to be mid-80s outside. So if you're going to be waiting in
line, it regulates itself.
Right.
And it's also chilly in the morning, too, especially in the hallways.
What was the new question?
It was about which games we're looking forward to at Gen Con, but we'll talk about that when we're going through our Gen Con list.
Yes.
Then we got a question from a first-time questioner, Wormwood Gaming. Hi, Polly. We love you.
Polly.
Did your love of board games bring you guys together, or were you friends prior to forming BGH? A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Yes, for me. And let me explain.
I think I understand where you're coming from.
So, Megan and I did theater together for a couple of years before we really got heavy into playing board games all the time. What would happen a lot of times is after rehearsals or on off days, people would generally come over to mine and my girlfriend at that time's apartment and play board games.
This wasn't until 2015, though.
Well, no, we did. Even during Chicago, we did. A little bit.
We did like once or twice, and that was Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah. But people
which is kind
started...
of that bridge gap.
Like, we started playing board games more frequently. Megan had to go back to school for a while, so she kind of went away. We started playing board games more frequently, then she came back. She kind of got pulled into it. Then she decided to marry this guy in the end. And...
I was there the whole time.
He was there the whole time. He wasn't within the group that Steven and I were with.
I was with Megan before you were with Megan.
Yes.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that I'm talking about, like, board gaming, how board game came into it. And where Derek and I kind of knew each other, it wasn't until we started playing, like, tabletop RPGs and board games that I would say we actually became friends. Because my ex and Megan are very good friends. We're all still great friends, but they at first weren't sure how we would react to each other.
Yeah, she and I were real worried about that first dinner, and we were right to be so, because that was really, really awkward.
We talked about Critical Role, and that was about it.
And football, because it was fantasy football around that time, because it was around your birthday.
Yeah.
Well, it was your birthday dinner.
Yeah, so I think it was, I would say that it is tabletop and Dungeons & Dragons and board games that kind of made Derek and I actually become closer as friends. Because, believe it or not, even though we don't always show it, we actually are friends. Who knew? Little BGH behind the scenes there.
So, Derek and I went to high school together. And Steven and I met through theater. We were friends beforehand, and then board games.
Okay.
Ah, well, yeah, because that's Derek. Derek doesn't like the mushy, gushy, sentimental crap.
I was just interested in his perspective.
What's your perspective?
Yeah, what's your perspective?
No, I mean, it's just that from the other side.
Oh, wait. Okay, so I do want to tell this story, though. So, there for a little while, I didn't really want Derek to come up and watch us play. At that time, it was Fantasy Age. So, within the game, we had, what was it, 6 of us?
No.
7 of us? Something like that?
There was 8 of you.
8 of us. So one day I was like, I think Clay was the one that was really pushing for you to come up. I was like, fine, whatever. So he comes up. And so he started coming up for all of the sessions just to sit and watch. Because he had just gotten into Critical Role. So anytime he would say something out to the side, it was essentially the metagaming pigeon, but he was a fox. We had this little fox that would follow us around and say things.
Sure.
So when we got to a certain point in the story, he came in as at the time, it was just one little spiel character. Well, no, because he took over for Issa Loya.
No, he filled in for a couple of characters whenever they were missing for a day.
Yeah. But he came in, he played that one character that he ended up playing, but it was a one-time, because you literally said, come up here and do this. It was when he took the sword from us. And he left. And then he came back later.
No, when the character took the sword from you, it was an NPC.
It
was an NPC. It had no relation, but then when we were going to bring him into the storyline, I made it into that character.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He didn't play that character.
I made it into the character.
He did play that.
No.
Yes, he
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't.
No.
I promise you.
I was there, but I had no idea.
And played.
No, but
one
at
NPC.
that point, he was that character. At that point, him and I had already talked about it. He was already the character. Pemberton was already a thing.
I don't agree with your all's remembrance of this. Your memory of this.
What's the next question?
It's my world. I remember it. I promise.
What's the next question?
There was one game that he came up and he played a single NPC. You called him up for him to do it because he was just chilling there. He played the little NPC and then he left. Like, he didn't do anything else for the rest of the game. And then several sessions later, he came back.
Correct. And him and I had already talked about that character.
Okay, well then, I was not let in on that aspect of it.
I know,
So
but that's
I'm
what
telling you from my perspective, he came up and played an NPC. You called him up from a...
I wasn't playing ball in the minors.
All right. Next question. Comes from our friend Liz. What is different about how you're approaching Gen Con this year versus last year before you had the Twitch channel?
I am approaching it no differently. I am being forced into a business trip.
Without going into too much detail about things we can't really talk about just yet, and don't necessarily want to talk about just yet, we are now afforded an opportunity to talk to companies and come at this from a completely different side. Because, first of all, like we talked about, last year when we first were going, we had zero expectations. Our plan was to go to see Critical Role live on Friday, and the rest of the weekend was just up in the air. Like, we didn't really know what we were going to do. We scheduled a bunch of stuff, and we only did about...
We did 2/3 of it.
Yeah. We skipped about 4 things that we had scheduled. Because we overscheduled ourselves. And that's something we're going to tell you guys when we talk about
Don't
tips
do
and tricks.
that.
And this year, I feel like we underscheduled ourselves. But
so that's probably the biggest difference is we came into last year with really no expectations, and this year we kind of know what to expect a little bit more, so we're super excited for it, but we're also excited that we get to interact with people within the industry, because like Derek said, if there would be a way for us to actually parlay this into something more than a hobby that has been very kind to us, I would like that. I would like to be in the gaming industry professionally in some way, shape, or form, be it game design or working for a company. Like, or having the stream turn into something that was profitable to where it could financially support us. And you've also heard Megan and I talk about a game store. So I'm open to many different avenues, and so I just view this as a great opportunity for us to network. But yeah, that's my feelings about the different moves. Would you guys have anything to add to that?
I mean, this year is really weird for me. I mean, I'll be honest and say I've got a lot of, like, anxious, like, going on right now. But it's weird because there are people who are coming, like, that decided to come see us and, you know, hang out with us at certain points in time. And that's weird to me because I
wouldn't want to hang out with us either.
This is going to sound so dumb and cheesy, but I'm literally a small town girl. Literally a small town girl from West Virginia, and I've lived here my entire life. So that's super weird for me. Like, super weird. But I love it, and I appreciate it.
Thank you both. But yeah, that is something that is that's not lost on us either.
No.
Is that we have created this community that wants to hang out together in real life. That wants to, like, have a little bit of a meetup and, you know, just get to know each other a little bit better beyond the, 12 hours a week that we spend together on stream and then the hours upon hours we spend together in the Discord each week. So, like I said, it's going to be really fun and cool to kind of put some faces with the names and, hug anyone that wants to be hugged.
Yes.
High five anyone that wants to be high fived.
Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, that's not lost on us. Next question comes from our friend Billy. Billy wants to know, can you please belt out show tunes so I can find you in the waiting area Thursday morning? Billy, we will talk about exactly where you can find us on Thursday morning.
You'll be lucky to get anything out of me in the morning.
But we'll make sure that you guys can find us Thursday morning.
Coffee.
Derek will be fine. We'll just get him a couple of beers.
Not in the morning. So that's a
Captain
long day to
Redbeard,
maintain.
thank you so much for the 500 biddies.
Whoa!
Sink to the bottom.
I have a kitty who's asleep.
Thank you, Captain.
So, Nia Froggy asks, are you guys more interested in playing with new people or wandering the expo hall and seeing stuff?
Wandering. I love looking at the booths. I love seeing the things. But I also really enjoy playing games.
It is a little bit of column A and column B.
Yeah.
I am still not getting to play an RPG with randos at a convention because everything that we tried to sign up for was full.
Okay, so last year we signed up for some stuff, and a couple of games we sat down for 2 or 3 different games. Three different games.
The first one we did was Secret Hitler.
Yeah.
And we were playing it with one of the people from the team that created it, and we ended up playing it with like 5 or 6 other people, and we had a great time with them. Like, when we were done playing Secret Hitler, some of the guys were like, let's go, if you're free, let's go hang out at a bar later and play some games that we pick up. They were great guys.
We never took anybody up on this, and we really should have.
We didn't. We should have. But then we played Raccoon Tycoon for the first time with a couple. They were hilarious.
They were special.
They were very funny. And
oh no, that's what I was thinking of. Sorry.
Oh, and then we went to the playtest room,
That's the couple I'm thinking.
and we played a game that was super in development, and we played with an older couple.
We played with probably the most, what's the word?
Eclectic.
No?
This was a couple, they were probably in their mid-50s, early 60s, and they were a trip. Like,
They
but
were a
kind of
trip.
not in a good way. Like, they were
What is
like,
the word
they were
I'm
like
looking
grouchy
for?
hippies.
They
and-
weren't really grouchy.
They were and they weren't. She did not seem like she was
She gave
interested in
up.
games. And he was like... I don't even know what was going on with him, but it was just weird.
It was fun, though.
They were a trip.
But then we played 1776 with one other guy, and somehow Steven and I ended up on a team together.
Somehow,
and
introvert gets stuck with the new guy.
Megan was playing with a rando, and when we were done playing 1776, that guy also said,
Super
"Let's
great.
go to a bar and play games later."
Well, and
The guy that showed us the game.
Guy that showed us the game said
He was in
something
for it
similar,
too. And we didn't do that. And I don't think we're going to have time to do it this year. But, like, if you do have time, if you meet a group of people that you play a game with and they're like, let's play games later, play games with those people.
Eccentric. That's the word I was looking for.
Sure, that's...
No, you said eclectic.
But it's just, it's a weird space that you get into at Gen Con because you're literally around people that have the same passion for games that you have, and it sort of hits you off guard when you hit it off with people that you've literally never talked to, and honestly didn't even really talk to during the game, but because you were playing together, it felt like you were hanging. Like, I don't know, it's a weird thing that happens when you're playing games with random people at Gen Con. So
Yeah,
I guess
it's cool.
the jump off point from there is if you have the opportunity and time to play with randos, do it, because more likely than not you're gonna have a good time whether you're an introvert or an extrovert or hate people or not. It's just an interesting bubble that surrounds Indianapolis in this specific weekend.
I think the biggest thing that makes it so different from a normal Comic-Con, we've talked about this a lot,
Mhm.
like off stream, is that when you go to a Comic-Con, normally you have all these different fandoms that kind of almost compete. You know, you have Star Trek versus Star Wars, you have Game of Thrones, you have all these different
DC
fandoms
versus Marvel.
that, like, they don't necessarily have a whole lot of
Madeline.
overlap. And with board games, tabletop gaming, you guys all have something common, something that you all have in common. So, I think we had maybe 3 people total, or 2 instances last year of annoyance of people out of 60,000 people.
Sure.
And, like, that's insane to have. Yes, it's going to be there for at
For the
least the next
foreseeable
for the
future.
foreseeable
I
future.
think the next 4 years they're
At
going to be in
least.
Indianapolis, but they did say that they are thinking about moving it, which to me is
They
weird.
thought about moving it last year,
Right.
and then decided to bring it back.
Yeah.
And now they're building more hotels, so I would say that it is
It's probably staying.
probably staying for a while.
Not directly next to me, DK Aspie.
Yeah, it's kind of a centralized location.
Yeah. You can get to Indianapolis from almost anywhere, even though some people are driving 12 hours to get there.
But yeah, I think that is all the questions we have for right now. So if you guys have any more, just throw them in the chat, and we will, be happy to keep answering questions. So, do we want to talk about the games we're looking forward to? Do we have any more tips or anything for anyone in general?
I mean,
We kind of talked about it a little bit. Don't overschedule yourself. One, leave yourself time to go from one place to another, because it's not just the convention center. There are a couple of hotels around that things are going to be at as well.
So there's the convention center, and then there's 3 hotels right in front of the convention center. One of the hotels just does like conferences and like meetings and like direct interface things. One of them has like
Actually, hold on. Let's do this.
one of them has like special events.
So-
oh look,
map.
so here's the
You're not going to do that.
there's the
can't-
convention center. You can obviously see it.
Hold on. gonna make it so they can see my mouse, so I can actually point to things. Give me a second.
But you can see the convention center right there. Directly in front of it is the Westin, and in the Westin they're going to have different types of events. Most of them are going to be like small theater type deals where you have like the panels and stuff. The Marriott is where a lot of people stay. The Marriott and the JW Marriott, which is off to the side. That's where a lot of people stay, but they also have like those personal meetings and stuff. But then you also have the Hyatt Regency, which is down there in the bottom left-hand corner. That's where the Board Game Geek Hot Games room is. They have a couple other halls where you can actually play games in the Hyatt. Most of the RPG games and stuff that you're going to play are in the convention center. Lucas Oil Stadium also has like the main play
That's where
area.
The board game library is.
Yeah. So
You get to go to Lucas Oil Stadium where the Colts play, walk down onto the field, and play board games on tables where the Colts play.
Yeah.
So instead of football, there are nerds rolling dice at Lucas Oil Stadium, and it's absolutely hilarious.
That's also where True Dungeon is, if
Yes.
anybody is doing True Dungeon.
So if you are joining us on Thursday evening at 9:00 to play at the board game library, that's where it is. There are still lots of tickets available to that. So if you have not gotten a ticket to that and you want to join us, we have not done True Dungeon.
Because it's expensive. But that's most of the hotels. That's where most of the stuff is. Critical Role Live, because the actual show isn't part of Gen Con, is
Up here.
about 10 blocks away. We took a lift last year, but you could definitely walk if you wanted to.
I think
but-
we may
but-
want to walk it this year.
But Lyft is
Yeah,
partnered.
it's not too bad.
But Lyft is partnered with Gen Con, so if you catch the right time, you'll be able to get a discount on a Lyft to use to get back and forth. But you might be able to walk there, like, to get to it. But when it's over, it's going to be like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and maybe you don't want to walk the 10 blocks to get back to the convention center, so that's where the struggle is. However, there are a bunch of people that are going to be walking, so as long as you just travel in a group, just be safe when you're walking in a large, unfamiliar city.
I'll protect.
Yes, it is kind of like an escape room, kind of.
It's like D&D meets an escape room.
Yeah, like, yeah.
But yeah. So, again, like I said, don't overbook yourself. The 3-2-1 rule.
What is the 3-2-1 rule?
When you're at a con, it can be very overwhelming, very exciting, and you'll want to do everything and not necessarily take time for yourself. So, make sure you're sleeping at least 3 hours a night. Eat at least 2 meals a day. And shower at least once. For all of your fellow con goers.
Please.
Please. Shower at least once a day. Eat and get some sleep. You got to take care of yourself
Also,
while you're there.
Don't want that con crud.
this does not apply to conventions. That is a life rule. Follow that rule in your life.
This is true.
Do that during your life. I don't understand why this needs to be said. What are we doing?
I am...
People get caught up because the thing is, the con doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop.
Listen, I get it. But bro, if you aren't eating 2 meals a day and if you're not showering, what are you doing? Reevaluate.
Wash your butt, folks.
I'm sure that if you're staying in the Marriott or the Hyatt Regency, that there's at least one bidet in that building. Find it.
But yeah,
That's wash your butt.
So, parking. There's parking all around. All of it's done through Event 10 parking, I think it's called, or
Something like that.
but it's not done directly through Gen Con. It's done through their own website this year. The great thing about the parking is that it's available 24 hours a day, and they have bus service shuttles that constantly go around that will drop you off.
Yes.
So you don't have to walk if you don't want to.
It's wonderful.
But you can. None of their parking lots are that far away.
No.
We were last year. We were in the farthest parking lot away, and it's maybe 4 blocks.
Like they're long blocks.
They're
yeah.
long blocks, but you can still get over there. It's
We
fine.
walked every morning.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't until we got to, like, toward the evening where we were like, okay, I'm tired.
This year we got a parking spot at Lucas Oil Stadium, so primo.
And, and if there are any questions that you all have specifically about Gen Con, about first time things, throw them in the chat so we can
We've been
answer
one
those
time.
too.
We're pros.
Well, not necessarily that, but we know what we would change.
Yeah,
Or what
we
we
can
would
learn from
have
our mistakes. Yes, and Billy is saying for $10 he'll hose you off outside the stadium, like outside of
See, there you
convention
go.
center. So you have no excuse
For
to smell.
15, can it be private?
Did you just wink at him?
There's a wink. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. But yeah, food. The food inside the convention center is very expensive.
And not great.
But you step just outside the main doors. There's 2 whole streets lined with food trucks.
There's barbecue.
Oh,
There
I
are
want that
salads.
barbecue so bad.
There's pizza. There are noodles that will
Noodles-
blow your mind.
Noodles were so good, but
They-
I didn't see them on the list.
There was a barbecue sundae that I had last year that was fantastic.
Last year they had pizza that had macaroni and cheese on it.
That was good.
Like they have so much food in these food trucks. And on top of that, there's a bunch of breweries in Indianapolis that you can check out. There's just so much.
Is it Sun King is the actual...
Sun King is
Sun
the
King, yeah, official brewery.
Official.
And Wednesday night, they're actually having a block party that Sun King is hosting at the food truck area.
Yeah. So, like I said,
Which I want
food
to
trucks is the best place to eat. I would suggest having cash. Most places
Yes.
do take cards.
Always do cash. When you're at a con like this, you're going to be spending money. The food trucks will appreciate cash. Honestly, most of the booths, the smaller booths, are going to appreciate cash because it's just harder for them to do the card stuff.
Well,
the
and-
bigger booths like Yellow and Days of Wonder and stuff,
Yeah.
they're going to have the tablets and like the swipe cards and the squares and everything else that you can use.
Yeah.
But cash just gets you in and out super fast, and it's just better.
But remember, too, when it comes to the smaller booths, when you use a card, they're having to pay
A process.
a processing fee for you to use said card. So even though it's not that much, it's still cutting into those small game companies' profit margins.
Mhm.
So consider, especially for the smaller companies, using cash.
Yeah. And it's Indianapolis, folks. Your bank is there unless you use like a local like credit union. But even then, you can
I don't remember.
You can pay.
seeing-
There's Chase.
Is there?
Yep.
we
Just
did
around the block.
Chase
I
around
couldn't,
our
I couldn't
yeah.
remember.
Yeah. There's Chase. All right. We talked a little bit about events. At this point, a lot of events have started to sell out. There are still lots of events available if you have not signed up for them yet.
Yes.
Um,
I think one of the coolest things that Gen Con does is you can just buy blank tickets. And you can take those blank tickets, and you do have to pay. I think it's like $2 for a blank
It's
ticket.
$2.
But if you get that blank ticket, you can go to any event, and if there are spaces available at the time of the event, like if people don't show up or if they just have spots left over, you can just hand them that blank ticket, and you can get in.
but it has to be valued the same. So if it was like
Yeah.
an $8 event, you'd have to give them 4 tickets.
Right.
But yeah, so you can get blank tickets to do events. But like I said, if you're looking at the event page, it can be overwhelming. Our best suggestion at this point is you can actually do it by things that have already sold out. You can also do it by date. So if you want to say, okay, what can I do on Friday that's not sold out?
Mhm.
You can filter it by Friday and sold out, and it'll make the list much, much smaller.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, I have
What
one.
was that?
There's a couch.
I have one when it's called like walking the floor.
Yeah.
When you're walking the floor, people are going to ask you if you want to demo their game. Do it.
Do that shit.
Do it anytime that you have the ability to demo a game, because that is the best way to find games that you wouldn't look at otherwise.
That's how they found a kid in a shuffle.
That's how we found a kid in a shuffle. That's how we.
Yellow. I mean, that's
I mean,
That's what
Yellow.
happened
We
with
did.
Yellow.
That's why we got Nessos. There was a game that we played last year.
Red Dragon Inn.
Red Dragon Inn.
Played Red Dragon Inn. Mm-hmm.
We sat down and played Red Dragon Inn because they were like, we can, do you want to demo it?
Because they had it for like $20 in the little...
With the coupon book, which they're having
That's
again.
something else. You're going to get a coupon book for free just for showing up. Look through the coupon book first.
Yes.
So that you know what you want to use and you are aware of what you want to use
Yes.
when you walk up to places.
Because I know last year there was a place that was doing the semi-precious stone dice. It was a smaller company. They were for super cheap, but I was...
You had just said.
I was a snob, and I really wanted ones from Level Up. Yes, it is by will call. And I think we actually got ours in our packet, didn't we?
No.
No, we picked them
we
up.
had to go get them.
We had to pick them up, yeah. So you'll have to go pick them up near will call. But I highly suggest getting one of those. Because there are a few things in there that are free.
Yeah, free stuff. But you have to have the coupon.
Yes.
Speaking of will call, just real quick while we're on will call.
Yes.
Do will call the day before if you can.
If you can.
If you can go Wednesday night, they're open like all night.
Yeah.
They're literally open all night.
The con has started. The line's going to be huge, but you need to get your stuff
even
the
though it's
night before.
first big, it actually moved pretty quickly.
It did move pretty quickly. Okay, so you have some sort of like understanding. When we got into Indy last year, it was 1:00.
No.
It was like
It was
10:30, 11.
Was it?
Yeah, we didn't get back to our hotel because of going to get our stuff till 1:00.
Gotcha. Okay, so we got there at like 10:30.
Yeah, we checked into our hotel and then went into town.
Yeah. Okay. But we were there past midnight.
Yeah.
Getting our stuff, and honestly, would not change it.
No. We stood in line, we played Pokemon Go, we talked with people about games. It moved relatively quickly, but as soon as you get in line with these people, you know that you are with your people because you just have something in common. You're all there for board games. So that's when it starts.
And I'm not going to judge anyone for their habits. But in any line situation like that, if you are somebody that smokes, please step far away from the line.
Also,
please
don't smoke.
I'll save your spot. I will save your spot for you if you will step away from me when you do it.
It is.
It would be much appreciated as someone who has adverse reactions to it, especially when it's being blown in their face.
Yeah, definitely do it then. So if you're doing will call, make sure you do it the night before.
Nice.
All right, let's talk about kind of the things that we are doing as people, as events that we're doing that we're looking forward to.
Okay.
So on Wednesday, we're going to the Yellow's VIP night.
Which I think there may still be tickets available.
You can look on their, if you go to their Facebook page, you can find it through that. I'm not sure if there is or not, but
Yellow is good people.
yes. And that's a booth you should definitely check out.
You do have to pay for the VIP event. It is a little bit pricey, but
you get
free stuff. There's free stuff. There's games. It's not just bullshit free stuff. You get games.
Yeah, like I think the tickets are like $60 or something, or they were for another one. They're like $60, but you're getting like $90 worth of games plus food.
And if you can't do that, then the block party's going on Wednesday night. We're going to try and stop by first to the block party before we go to VIP.
And then head into purely because I want to try one of the beers.
Yes.
So Thursday, I'm actually just gonna pull up our schedule right to see what the heck we're doing. Thursday morning, I'm gonna show you guys. So everyone keeps asking where they can find us. So Thursday morning, actually, I'll be there. Where's the convention? So Thursday morning, there is gonna be opening ceremonies, which is gonna happen over here. Over here, you have the cosplay photo area.
No, it keeps going.
Well, I know.
Oh.
Over here's the cosplay photo area. We are going to be sitting right here this year.
Or over there.
No, we're going to be sitting right here. There's a reason why.
I'm not entirely thrilled with this decision.
Here's
I
why
understand why. I'm just not thrilled with it.
So, the reason why we're doing that is this booth right here is Level Up. And that's the first place they want to go is Level Up Dice.
The only issue that I foresee is that we don't have as much space to sit. We'll have to be up against the walls there.
Well, no, they'll let us sit here. Because this whole thing will fill up. We were here last year.
Yeah.
This is where we were last year, and this whole thing...
I don't agree with this decision.
If you want to go to level up first to get the dice, this is where you're going to have to be.
That's not true. You can sit wherever. We'll talk about it later.
Well, no. I mean, do you guys want to sit in the other place and then just try to go all the way around to get to level up? Because that's the first place you guys want to go.
Why do you have to say it with that kind of slang?
I don't think that level up is going to be in the same like vein as some of the other like games.
Okay.
So
do you want to just say we plan on sitting here,
yes,
and then you guys can just loop around?
Yes.
Also, for anybody that is interested, this booth right here, it's
1803.
1803. This is where Rachel's going to be.
Resonim! But she is working, folks. This is not a social situation. She is working the booth.
Yes, we will hang out with her.
She's very good at her job.
Yeah, we will hang out with her at the meetup, but definitely stop by, let her demo the game for you and things. But yeah, so we will be right here at the very front of the line.
Yes.
We are going to be getting there at right around 8 o'clock.
Or between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, we are going to be there.
We will be there. So here's the thing. A couple of notes about like us being there. If you want to come hang out and sit with us and get in the doors first, that's great, fantastic. Be there at 7:30, 8 o'clock yourselves. We will not and cannot hold places for people.
It's not my job. I'm on vacation.
There's nothing worse than people, like, you've been sitting there forever, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in front of you and just sits down, like they walk through a whole bunch of people that are sitting behind you. We're not going to be that group. So if you want to hang out with us before the con opens, play some like small games on the floor right there. Be there between 7:30, 8 o'clock. And also at that point, we'll give you guys the little ribbons that say neighbor on them, so you can put them on your badges, so you can talk about how awesome the neighborhood is. But yeah, so this is where we're going to be. So if you want to, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So
show them Will Call.
Will Call is over here.
Right where those green squares are, that's where Will Call is. And then you just go up this hallway. To your right is where all the tables and the gameplay is going to be.
Yep.
And then this is the main floor area, and we're going to be right there on the right.
Yeah. So, like...
Yo, I collect ribbons like nobody's business.
Oh my god, it's so much fun.
But yeah, so this right here, it's the Hoosier Concourse. We'll be right here at the very end, right at the doors to Hall F.
That's where we sat last year.
It's where we sat last year, and we'll probably make that our staging area every single time.
Yeah, we had a really good time there.
You're kind of out of the way.
That's the reason why I prefer to be there, is you're out of the way.
Okay.
Because sitting there in that main area, they're gonna tell us to move because we won't be able to sit in that. We won't be able to sit in the middle of the floor. Because that's why and for anybody who is cosplaying, they are very big about this. You have to go to the cosplay photo section basically to let people take pictures of your cosplay, because they don't want you stopping traffic anywhere else.
Speaking of stopping traffic, so if you're not able to catch up with us at the beginning of the morning and you run into us on the floor, say hello, give us hugs. Chances are we will be on our way to doing something, so we may not be able to have a full conversation with you. We'll probably say awesome, hug you, give you a ribbon and things, and say we'll see you at the meetup or whatever, because if we're on our way to something else.
And then deuces, because I'm on vacation.
No, it's because while the aisles are pretty decent size at Gen Con, we still don't want to just block aisles. So
the last day there, was it the last day or was it Saturday? It might have been Saturday. Will you stop biting my ear? The Critical Role booth basically broke that section of the hallway, because that's when Matt dressed up as Puma.
Puma still.
Yeah.
And was in the booth, and there was some serious issue
Sunday.
there. Don't do that.
So yeah.
Try not to block the
biggest thing is we want to be conscientious
of your fellow con-goers.
But like if we're out at the food court area, I will be eating. You can be there.
You can eat as well. No. The other thing to be aware of is that we probably will be filming a lot. Hopefully, at different booths, as far as trying to get like information about new games, so we can bring it back and share it with you guys. So we want to interact with you guys as much as physically possible. Just if we're in the middle of something,
Does
please...
that say train games?
What?
Train gamers. Never mind. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to see where you see
Where did
something.
you even see that?
bottom
Oh,
right.
Train gamers. I see it.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, we want to hang out with you guys and talk with you guys as much as physically possible while we're there. It's just understand that we may sometimes be in a hurry, and we don't ever want you guys to think that we don't want to talk to you or see you, because we do love you, and we wouldn't be doing a lot of what we're doing without you guys. We'd still be at Gen Con.
We wouldn't be doing what we're doing without you guys.
Correct. We'd still be going to Gen Con, but it would be completely different. So just bear with us, and please just be a little understanding of that's the one thing that we ask.
And if you want me to sign things, wait to the meetup.
Please don't have him sign anything.
Do that.
Ow.
Okay.
Also, hi, Vin Diesel.
We will do that.
Pandasaurus, check. Also, check out... I recommend going to Twitter and just in the search bar typing in Gen Con, because there's all kinds of people who made it... They're influencers, and they may not necessarily have a booth, but they're going to be working at some of the booths, and they are giving away free stuff. Like, I took a picture of it. Hold on. There's
As
one
long as it has your
guy-
credit card on, I'll sign it.
Game. Oh, the guy that does Baby Bestiaries, the book of the Baby
Yeah.
Beast for D&D, he doesn't have a booth, but he's going to be working at booth 132, and if you go and find him, he's giving away free Dragon Turtle pins, and will also, and has other stuff. He has the Owlbear plush prototypes and stuff there too that he's going to be showing off. So go to Twitter, search for Gen Con, and you're going to find stuff like, it's like going to McDonald's and ordering from the secret menu. If you have the information and can find the people, there's free stuff to be had all over the place.
Owlbears. I love owlbears.
Alright. So, like I said, so plan on Hall F, 8 o'clock in the morning, each one of the days. That's what will be first thing in the morning.
I feel like this thing is about to just go.
I don't know what's going on.
But that's what will be each morning, so come hang out with us. We'll have some small games. We'll probably bring, like,
Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza.
Nope.
and other small games.
We'll have other ones, but that one is definitely
We'll have 2 or 3 small games with us. Maybe, like, Dungeon, Mayhem, things like that. So,
Nessos.
Tempura. Alright. Non-games
On games.
vendors that we're looking forward to talking to or seeing.
Wait, what does that constitute?
That constitutes like our friends at Wormwood Gaming.
Oh, yeah,
But
Wormwood.
also, shoot. What was
Eldritch
that?
Foundry.
Eldritch Foundry. They're going to be doing demonstrations of their new custom miniature stuff. They posted a picture on Instagram earlier today. They have the booth set up. They have their printer already set up. They're ready to go for demonstrations and stuff.
And by the way, for anyone that is...
Liz, are you gonna be at the live show now?
Hey.
Nice.
So, anyone that is going to be making their beeline...
Metal Mommy! Yay! Oh, that makes me happy.
That's awesome.
Yay!
So, anybody that is also looking to go to the Wormwood booth right away for like those special things that you're going to have like 5 of each day, the vaults,
Wait, what are they going to have 5 of each day?
the Gen Con.
Oh, I'm not worried about that.
The Gen Con, there's the
But anybody
the
that also
Wingate?
wants to, like, I know you're not necessarily interested in double up dice, so you may want to go to Wormwood first for your hero vault.
But I am interested in level up dice. And I also want to get those dice and then put them in the master vault that I purchased at the Wormwood booth.
Okay. Anyways, so this booth right here is Wormwood's booth. So we will be right next to them as well, so we can always go there quickly as well from our prime spot location here.
From my vantage point, at least my plan was level up dice, come back down, say hello to Rachel, pick up my beanie, and then go to Wormwood. Was my prerogative, and then we can start from
I'm not
there
mad
on
at
our
that.
swerve.
Not
Yeah.
mad about that.
Okay, so things that are not necessarily board games, but things that are there that we're definitely looking at. We level up dice,
Level Up.
Wormwood.
Oh! Go see Abbott's Hollow. They are leather makers. They make a lot of really cool leather products like iPad cases.
Oh yes, I love their iPad cases.
Yeah, and
Dice bags.
dice bags, and they're all like monster.
Yeah.
Like
Really
they've
cool
got
looking.
like really cool eyes.
Last year, I went back and
It's
forth
very
so
cool.
hard on getting a leather with a dragon eye in it. I didn't get it, but it was great.
They have dice pouches. They're gonna have dice trays. Follow them on Instagram. They're similar to the ones that Level Up does, like that whoever they teamed up with.
They had me team up with them, honestly.
But we know it's not them.
Is it? Okay.
We first saw them at Lexington Comic-Con. Is that where we saw them for the first
I
time?
think so.
But their stuff is beautifully made. You can find all kinds of different stuff. Check them out. I was really excited to see that they were going to be at Gen Con because, like I said, they were really cool.
I mean,
Find them on Instagram.
the other thing at Gen Con, they have a whole artist's alley area where you have like novels, people writing fantasy novels and all kinds of other stuff. You have like actual artists who will be doing paintings and like line work and stuff there on the con floor that you can buy their stuff. They have like stitching. They have quilts. I know that I talked to a woman on Twitter this afternoon who does pixel art, but she stitches it. She does it with quilts. Like she quilts pixel art onto a blanket that you can buy.
Okay, speaking of that, there were two last year two in the artist alley that I really loved. One of them was the artist for Raccoon Tycoon. Had
Yes.
her own booth, and you could buy the Raccoon Tycoon stuff.
The prints of the
animals,
animals.
the animals. Number two was a woman. I think it was a woman. I'm pretty sure. A person who would take pictures of your animals
Oh my god, it
and
was hilarious.
sketch them
It was
as
so
D&D
funny.
characters. And it took me everything I had not to order one. Because I really wanted one. Really wanted one.
Just a quick note about the way that they actually... One thing that I like about Gen Con versus a lot of other conventions out there is the way that they lay out the convention itself. With normal conventions, you can literally walk down an aisle and have somebody that's homemaking one thing next to a big publisher, next to a t-shirt place, next to a place that's selling magic cards. Like there's like
It's overwhelming.
there's no rhyme
And you
or
miss
reason
things.
to it. With Gen Con, they actually tried to make it make sense. So it is much better organized. Like you have Artist Alley, you have like a family games section, you have like these different places that you can go to.
The indie games has like their own little area where it's like single publishers.
Yeah.
And not like the big publishers. So they don't. So and the thing is the reason they do that is so people don't get lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have those small people like Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza who would get lost.
Yeah, like
Next to other-
I just happened to see him.
Yeah.
When we were at Origins, like because they had a very small booth. But yeah, it's laid out very, very well.
Oh, Beatles and Grimm. I
Yes.
know that this stuff is expensive, and I know that it's not affordable for everybody, but just to go and listen to those guys talk about how passionate they are for what they're making, and even just to see the quality of the pieces they put together is great. Like, I didn't even get to talk to Matthew Lillard last year, but we went up to the booth because they were right next to Wormwood.
They shared it with Wormwood.
Right. So we went up to the booth and like the guy was showing me all the stuff and like he let me look at the coins and stuff that came with the Waterdeep package, and like they're just so passionate about the project, and the stuff is so quality. It's so choice.
I'm trying to think of other ones. Norse Foundry. I'm excited to go see
Metal
Norse
Dice is
Foundry.
Chessex.
Chessex has
There's
3
Chessex
different
booths
booths.
everywhere, and you can just take that bucket and just dump and get a shitload of dice.
And they help you make sure it's really full.
yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely get your money's worth if you do the bucket of dice.
What is the other one? The other
Broken Token.
Broken Token. I'm excited for.
They make like little.
They make organizers.
It's wood adjacent stuff, and it just fits in your box, and everything is good to go. It's great.
We got one last year for
Terraforming
Mars.
Best
and it
decision.
is
Best
fantastic.
decision.
So good.
Campaign coins. There is another. Hero Forge is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one similar to Wormwood that I can't think of right now.
Dogmite.
Dogmite will be there. Dogmite has
Arcane
really
Academy.
neat stuff.
Elderwood.
And Arcane.
Elderwood Academy.
Elderwood Academy.
They are partnered with
Dogmite and Elderwood Academy. Both.
Mm-hmm.
Go check both of them out as well.
Because obviously we love Wormwood. Obviously their stuff
we
is
love
great.
Wormwood.
But Dogmite does very specific stuff, like their Dungeon Master
washes are really
screens,
cool.
and like the carvings that you can get, the dragon head that you can get on some of their stuff is very cool. Elderwood Academy is affordable stuff that's still of a high quality. It's great.
Yeah.
Play to Beat Brain Cancer is going to be there, who we helped out with CageCon.
There's just so much that happens
There's
at
so much.
Gen Con. Like, it's the best 4 days of gaming, and it takes 4 days to absorb all of it.
Like this year, we all have decided to take our time on the floor. We decided last year, on the very first day, we made it through the entirety of the floor.
Yeah.
And we missed
So much.
so much because of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to take our time walking through. Ooh, library booths. That's cool.
Okay. Other things that we're doing, because we kind of forgot about we stopped talking about all that. Gen Con.
Yeah.
And honestly, guys, it does get expensive.
It does.
But it doesn't have to. If you can control yourself, it doesn't have to. But make sure that you are budgeting yourself, that you have enough money to feed yourself the
Food.
entire weekend.
That is the most important thing.
Don't go and buy Dwellings of Eldervale and then not have enough money to get lunch. Don't do
Don't
that.
do that. Also, don't put yourself in debt. So for us, we saved up. This is our vacation.
Yeah.
So we've been saving up for this one.
All right. So we are playing a few games that are just demos. That like one is a game we actually saw last year at Gen Con, but it was very early alpha stage.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a game about trees and leaves blowing. It's called Bosk. It's by the same people that make Sangrata, Floodgate Games. So we're going to be playing that. There's another one that just looked kind of interesting, and it's called Honeybuds that we're playing as well.
That was something I wanted to play because it's about bees.
And then the other things that we actually have on our schedule are all things that you guys can do too, and they're things that go on throughout the whole weekend. One of them is Thursday evening, and you guys are more than welcome to join us doing this one. It's the Game Library. It's where we play games till all hours in the morning.
Lucas Oil Stadium.
At Lucas Oil Stadium. It starts at 9 o'clock. You can go in and get a ticket for it. I think it's like $4. Get it. Come join us.
Come join us.
Play some games with us. Hang out. Have fun.
Somebody please play 13 Dead and Drive with me.
It will be our pre-meetup kind of thing. So that's one that we're doing. Another one that we did last year that got us an insight into a couple of really great games, one of which I know I bought, which was Rise of Tribes, is the Board Game Geek Hot Games Room. But yeah, Board Game Geek Hot Games Room, where they actually just get some of these hot games we're about to talk about, and you can go in there and play them in one space.
The thing is I'm pretty sure that Board Game Geek literally like handpicks the games that they put in there.
Well, they do.
Well, like, once we're done with these questions and stuff, we have a list of games that we're excited for. I guarantee, and these games are from the Board Game Geek website. I guarantee you that Board Game Geek is also looking at this same list and is going to select the games that people are most excited for to put in the Hot Games room.
Yeah.
Which is very smart. They operate very efficiently. They have their whole room where you can play these games, and then they stream from the con floor with publishers, with designers. They play new games and stuff.
They do a good job, folks.
You can vote at their booth as well for what you believe is the best games. What are the best games of the con?
The best games of the con, Mechanica.
Yeah. So other things that we're doing. So we're doing the Hot Games room. We're doing the games library. Obviously, we're all going to Critical Role Live on Friday night. And then on Saturday, we're going to go to Talks Machina Live because you can. And then we're also going to be doing the First Exposure playtest room. That's what we're talking about, where you can play a game that's still in development, give feedback. I know, like I said, when we played the game last year with the guy Jonathan, I think he really enjoyed us and enjoyed our feedback.
Yeah, that was fun.
Well, and the
That was
thing
a fun
is,
time.
we play tested his game, and I'm still in contact with him.
Yeah.
Like, he took our emails and stuff, and he emailed us after the con was over, and like I still have his email. We've still been corresponding, and now
he comments on our Twitter and stuff all the time.
right, and now he's following us through this journey. He's jumped into the stream a couple times. He follows us on Twitter and Instagram. Like,
I think he really liked us too, and I highly suggest this if you do go. Give honest feedback about the games. Truly tell them. Don't just be like, yeah, I liked it. That doesn't help them. That's not why they're there. Tell them things that you really enjoyed about. Tell them things that you think maybe could be done better without being like a dick about it.
Like, one of the things that with the game we played, it was a resource management game that we played, and part of the game was negotiating with your fellow players, but because the way the game was set up, there was no way for us to kind of hide what we had when we were like doing negotiation. So we talked about maybe like doing some type of a player screen, and he really liked that idea. So that may be something that may be in the final game because we play tested it. So yeah, so we have that, and then obviously Saturday night we have the meetup, 8 o'clock. It is at Thunderbird.
I'm so excited.
Where we're going to hang out with all of you. You guys can buy me cheese sticks. Yeah. Mozzarella sticks. I like mozzarella sticks. So I'm going to show you guys where this is in relation to the convention center, just so you guys know. Actually, this.
Settings.
So, it's only about a mile or so away. So there's a convention center, there's Lucas Oil Stadium, and that's where it is. So I wouldn't necessarily walk it, but you can try to carpool with people that are going. I like cheese, yes. You can carpool with people that are going, or you can Uber down there. Sorry, not Uber, Lyft. Lyft is the official partner.
I mean, you can Uber, but you might get a discount through Lyft.
You can.
Because you're at the con.
You actually definitely will.
So, I'm going to drop
if you have the codes and stuff.
Boom. We're going to do this. So, this is Thunderbird. This is where we're going. Not only do they have the seating inside, but they also have a little bit of a patio outside that we can hang out on. So, depending on the weather and things.
On a serious note, this is a bar. If you are going to be drinking, please be safe. Do not get behind the wheel of a car.
No.
Please.
That's why I invited Steven to come to Gen Con with us.
Take a lift. Find a DD. Somebody will be willing to take you where you need to go. Because nobody wants you getting behind the wheel of a car. Please.
I am not going to be personally responsible for anyone, but in the same breath, I'm also not going to let anyone do anything stupid. We love you all. We want you to be safe. And if one of us, probably would be me, comes up to you and says, you should not be driving, It's because we care about you and we want you to get back to your hotel safely. There's plenty of ways to get to and from places that we don't need anyone getting into a problem, having an issue, while we're having a good time. So, have fun, drink responsibly.
Be responsible.
Don't ruin other people's good time by being a drunk. Ow.
You okay there?
She put her face in my mouth.
But yeah, the thing is, like, it can be overwhelming because there's a lot of people there, and that's the other thing is that self-care, and you all will know yourselves way better than I will ever know any of you. If you're somebody that needs to step away,
there are places to do that.
Step away, my son.
There you go. Billy just offered to be a DD for anyone that needs a DD.
Yes, please.
So, yeah, like I said, we want to make sure everyone's safe and having fun. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a good time. Thunderbird's been amazing. We haven't talked about this a whole lot.
Did
but
you reach back out to them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I saw the email come through and I didn't look.
So, Thunderbird is a smaller, little cool... It has a really great vibe. If you look at pictures on the inside, it's really cool looking. But we're having almost 50 people show up at their place, and they're not charging us anything extra. Like, they're not charging us to begin with. Like,
that's why we're like, please buy food and drinks and things there.
The same way you guys are very supportive of us, we want to be super supportive of them because they're being super awesome and letting us kind of take over their whole restaurant. Their restaurant/bar. And we... Yes, we will take plenty of pictures for you. So they're being super nice to us, and so we want to make sure that we're supporting them. So, come hungry, come thirsty, and just, have a good time. We'll probably close the place down, is my guess.
Support local things.
We'll probably bring a bunch of smaller games too. So we can play, launch on the mozzarella sticks, all the apps, all the food. Like I said, the food all looks really good. You can go to their website. I think it's Thunderbird Indie, and the food looks really good. You know what?
Yeah.
Hold on. We can actually do this because...
Why are you doing the...
I don't know.
So, I'm going to see if I can find...
Gallery.
Menu. Oh, you want to do gallery? All right.
Oh, I thought that's what
fine.
you were doing.
So a lot of their...
Just a lot of drinks.
It's all a lot of their drinks. So they do have a lot of drinks. But, like, this is the bar on the inside. Really cool vibe.
It's going to be fun. Gonna have a good time.
But menu, they have senior cocktails. And then their kitchen, they have Johnny cakes, hot tamales.
You don't need to read through it.
I want to. I'm hungry. They have mac and cheese.
They have poutine.
Poutine!
They also do have vegetarian and vegan options, too.
Neat!
So, like I said, there's a lot of great things, so we definitely make sure that we support them, because, like I said, they're being super awesome with us letting them kind of take over their place.
So bad.
What's she
She
doing?
literally pulled my arm down and just started biting me. Like, she reached up, pulled it to her, and bit me.
Ow.
And did the cute little cat thing with their back legs.
Ow.
Pull you close, but then push you away at the same time.
Yeah.
Ow.
All right. Last but not least.
No. No. What's last but not least?
Yes, that was like an old picture of like John Travolta or something. Last but not least, let's talk about games we're looking forward to. This whole thing's about board games.
Yes.
So, is there any questions about Gen Con in general, the location, or anything we haven't covered before we get into actual board games that you guys have for us? It's really not as bad or as scary as it can be.
Oh, that's what I wanted. I wanted to tag on to something that you said earlier.
Sure.
Some people were saying how they would be overwhelmed by the size of it. I myself am a person who is claustrophobic. I don't really like big crowds all that much. I can handle it to an extent. I never felt really overwhelmed at Gen Con. I'm not saying that that is something that will not happen, but there are definitely places that you can sneak off to kind of cool down for a little bit and kind of think and, you know, get your mind back in order. But it's, yes, it is massive, but because you're with people who enjoy the same things, it doesn't feel like huge.
There's plenty of places inside where you can just go sit. They have seating areas.
Yeah.
Like,
And the other thing is, because there is 17,000 different events people are going to, it's never like there's a mass exodus or something going on
Yeah.
that makes you seem like you're caught in a crowd that you can't get out of. Like,
The only time
everyone's going their own places.
The only time I would say that that would be a thing would be at the very beginning,
Yeah.
when you're rushing the floor.
mhm.
But
Even
honestly,
then it immediately disperses.
yeah, especially where we are and where we sit really close to the front, we get in and into the thrill of it, you know, right away. So we don't have that major like push in there, but they're very organized about how you get in there, so it's not, I don't know, it didn't feel overwhelming. It
Yeah.
didn't feel like it was a huge con. Like, it was definitely bigger than any of them that I've been to before, other than like Dragon Con feels massive because there are a ton of people. I don't really know where things are. It's spread out between like 6 different hotels, so it gets a little confusing. Gen Con, everything is there.
Mhm.
It's a very, everything is in one general area, so
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like too crazy.
Like I said, don't ever hesitate to step away from yourself, but also know that you are surrounded by people that are very similar to yourself.
They love board games. Everybody's there because they love board games.
Or tabletop games, D&D.
Because they wouldn't be at the con unless they're only going for like talks.
Or Magic the Gathering.
Or even that. Very few people are only going to go for that.
I did notice last year that there were a lot of people that seemed streamlined, focused only on Magic the Gathering, and to me that
See,
was
I
just
didn't see
interesting.
that.
I felt like there were.
I think there's a lot of them. I thought there were some, but not a lot. But yeah, so let's talk about games that we're interested
Yay!
in. I'm going to do this,
We have lists.
and I can search for titles by when you guys are talking about them.
This is a very generalized thing. We're not going to go into a lot of detail about these games, but we went on Board Game Geek today and in the last week, and we have sort of picked out some of our favorites. I chose more than I thought that I would, and I have the smallest number in my list, so there you go.
Well, we do have some overlap too.
I have the most. So, I think we should maybe talk just a little bit about how we chose our...
Sure.
So I know for me, and I think for Steven as well, very much looked at the box art, the mechanic, and then I read the description. If those two things caught me, then I read the description.
For me, it was like theme, mechanic. I also did look at things like number of players and playtime.
Yeah, I didn't look at that. I also have a lot of kids games on my list because I know that we have people who have tiny humans. And I wanted to give some of those options as well. I'm going to talk again about some of the yellow games or the Loki games and some other ones that I saw that I thought would be interesting.
Real quick, Felix, the list is not a complete list of every game that's going to be here. Be there. It's just some that they are kind of promoting more.
Well, these are the releases. These are things that are going to be new releases.
But even this is not even all of them. But either
Right.
way, this is 620 some titles of many, many other options that are going to be there as well. So, all right, who wants to go first? Or who is it?
I don't start till B, so...
You and I have the same first one.
So you want to start with that one? So this one's been getting a lot of hype, especially It's actually number 1 on the hotness right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It's right there.
It is number 1 on the hotness. It is called Abomination: The Heir of Frankenstein.
Why did I not see this?
I don't know. It plays 2 to 4 players. Takes between 1 and 2 hours to play.
Oh, that's why.
What?
It's just when you open up with pictures like that where it's like grids and numbers, I just get lost with that.
Gotcha. And it's a game more or less that I'm not going to read the full description, but the first part of it just says it's been 20 years since Victor Frankenstein died on a ship to the Arctic, but his vengeful creature lives on, and more or less, you guys are going through
You're trying to build parts.
you're trying to build parts of
A new manga.
That was the big thing. Those the puzzle piece parts.
Yeah.
That I.
So it kind of has like a horror theme to it that I really like, and it's part storytelling, part dice rolling, part set collecting, and the other thing that I thought that Derek really likes is that it's variable power, which means that each person has their own special powers.
Yeah.
So it's not everyone has the same exact thing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go through these faster. It's already after 9 o'clock. That's 1.
All right. Next game. Like I said, we don't have to pull all these up.
Probably open another window.
I hope so.
I did.
Thank goodness.
Megan, you had another A.
I did have another A. Give me a second. The Ancient World from Red Raven Games.
Oh, I love Red Raven.
Mhm.
What's it about?
So I'll be honest. I did this very like right before this, so
Ancient
it's
World.
gonna take me a minute.
Ancient World.
Ancient World.
I can't spell.
CIENT.
There.
All right, so I think I'm the only one that put this on their on their thing. So
Wait, is that the right one? This is the Ancient Worlds. That's not right.
no. You missed.
Just talk about it.
All right.
Just talk about it.
So basically, what you're doing is you're trying to grow the largest and most influential city-state by managing citizens, treasuring military, and defeating titans. It's got a card mechanic. It's got some dice rolling. It's got set collection.
That concept, that general concept. Last year at Gen Con, I felt like there were a lot of games sort of tailored to the Viking aesthetic. This year, there are a lot of games based on this idea of like collecting things to go and defeat large beasts. There are a lot of games like that this year.
So I think, I don't know, it caught my eye. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to go and like
Take a deeper look into
into it.
One that I put down there, I'm just going to kind of keep going real quick. Next one I have on my list is from Flat Hat Games. It's called Aftermath. It's a cooperative game where you do one of 20 different stories, and you're trying to collect things to survive, but the world's filled with like bandits and predators, so you must figure out a way to survive and live.
Yes. Okay. I have yet another one.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Atelier. Atelier. The Painter's Studio. And basically you are a painter and you are trying to create these works of art. Please look at these player mats. I mean, come on. So you have different movements that you can do. Again, it's, you know, set collecting, dice rolling. I'm super excited about it because I love the theme. Keep scrolling through there and look at some of the... go to the last picture. So that's kind of what you're doing, and you're using your dice to gather things and put them on your palettes.
Cool.
I don't know. It looked real cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like art.
Yeah.
So it immediately caught my attention.
I like art.
Okay. So, next on my list is Bosk.
Yes, we all have the
We
Bosk.
all have Bosk, but I have something before Bosk.
Oh.
I have Battlelands. And I'll be honest,
Is it all one word?
I don't know much about it, other than the fact that it has animals on the cover.
A lizard. A weird...
So this also has
Mouse?
variable player powers.
That's a rabbit, mouse, and a mole.
This one's lower on the thing. I'm pretty sure it's just a real small like card game,
Mm-hmm.
but it looked really cute to me,
I like that the mole has a candle.
so I put it on my list.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And
Alright.
that's the thing. There are so many big games, but there's also twice as many small games just like that you're just going to find at the smaller booths. This might be the first game that they've put out. It might be the 20th, but like those smaller games don't necessarily get as much attention pre-Gen Con. But like once you're there, once you find them, I mean, then you feel like you have something special.
Wait, have you moved on to Bosk without
Yes.
telling us?
Yes.
Well, I'm pulling it up.
So the next one we all have on ours is Bosk. And that is because we saw this in like, I'm pretty sure it was still alpha.
No,
Yeah.
it was beta.
Was
they
it
had
beta?
they had the trees. So it wasn't alpha, but it was in their beta. They knew what they wanted to do and they were just sort of fiddling with the
Like
balance.
the trees weren't like trees. I don't remember there being trees. I
Yeah,
remember
they had
them
the trees, but they
placing-
didn't have anything else.
I remember them placing like
Yeah.
paper pieces around on the board to represent the stuff.
But
Like,
basically what happens is you're in a forest during the fall time and
the fall time.
the winds come through and they move leaves, different number of spaces, and then you're collecting the leaves and getting points from the different colors. It's just a beautiful game, and we were really excited about it last year, and they said that it was going to be on Kickstarter in November, and it never was because they decided to just do full release at Gen Con this year. So we were looking forward to it on Kickstarter, and now we're even more looking forward to it because it's been a whole year, and we're definitely picking this one up.
Okay. Next on the list, I'm next thing I have is Bunny Kingdom.
I have
Megan
Kids game.
Megan has 68 games on her
I
list.
have 68 games on my list. I'm sorry because I was looking at games that not only I was interested in, but games that I wanted to bring to you all.
Well, I think what we'll do is when we get to the next yellow game, let's just do all yellow.
All
together.
yellow games. Okay. So this is called Bugs on Rugs. This is a card. It's a game for ages 6 and up. So this is going to be for your little ones. It looked really cute. It's drafting. You're taking cards. You're drafting cards from the floor, putting it into your hand to create sets, and each bug has a different, victory point value for what you're able to collect. It's a really good base game for kids to start understanding set collection and rules and how to make the most of their moves to grab the most points at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that this is something, when it comes to the kids games, I know a lot of you don't have tiny humans, but it's so important to introduce kids to games.
Well, and I think it's great that a lot of the kids' games that are coming out of Gen Con this year
Mhm.
are basically beginner level to the more complicated
Yes.
strategy games, so that they can grow up playing, with sort of like a higher level of thinking involved in the
Exactly.
games that they're playing. They're
Exactly.
not playing.
They're
I
not
love-
roll and move games.
I love Break the Ice, but let's be honest, there's no skill. There's not a whole lot of skill involved in Break the Ice.
Well, and they're not roll and move games.
Right,
Like
and I love
Candyland.
Like there's Candyland, and then there's like Chutes and Ladders, but it's very simple. You move the number of things. Landed on this space, something bad happens.
Do that. Don't go.
But like a lot of the kids games that are coming out do have these beginner level that will eventually lead them to playing Catan and Lords of Waterdeep and Scythe and everything else.
Alright, so the next thing on all three of ours lists, that was horrible grammar and I apologize, is a game that we have been looking forward to since they announced it, and that is Bunny Kingdom in the Sky. It is an expansion to Yellow's Bunny Kingdom. We love Bunny Kingdom.
Love it.
Like,
This
we
is not letting me do anything.
love Bunny Kingdom.
Love it.
It is being real weird to you, isn't it?
But it's just an expansion. It adds more places for you to put your bunnies, and it also adds.
You're by publisher, so it's going to take you forever.
It also adds a
Well, I
couple
wanna
new
get to
components
it.
to the game that you can play.
I believe it adds a new board.
Yeah, and it adds an addition to the board.
Trey, if you see anything you like as I'm scrolling past, just say something. I kid. Don't actually say anything.
What? Why don't you just go to Bunny Kingdom?
Because I'm trying to get to all of the yellow games. We can talk about all of them at once.
Oh.
Because otherwise, if we start talking about every single one of these, we're gonna be here till 12 o'clock.
Okay.
What do you have next?
Keep
I'm sure that you
scrolling.
have something else.
Well, I'm waiting for him to get to the yellow games.
Oh.
And I can't just click show all because for some reason that doesn't want to work right now.
Boy, it just takes a long time for it to load everything. Where are you at now? The C's?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll click show all, but let's just talk about other things while we wait for it to load then.
Okay. So, Bunny Kingdom in the Sky, basically, you're adding another board to the main board. You're adding a few new pieces as well. I mean, it's been out for a minute, but not for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still very new.
It's like they've had a soft opening to Bunny Kingdom in the Sky, but they're pushing it hard at Gen Con. Like, this is the full release after Gen Con. It's going to be in stores wide. So it is a bigger deal here than it has been since it actually came out.
Going to my next.
Right, I have it now.
You have it now? Alright, I'm going to go to the next yellow game that actually isn't listed with yellow on here.
The Loki games.
And that is Decrypto,
Yes.
the expansion. Decrypto is a very fun, it's a party game, but it's different. So, basically, you have these words that are, I don't know. Each one is given a number. So each word is given a number. And what you're trying to do is give a word that matches the word so your teammates can crack the code. They can associate that word with the number. I feel like that was not a really great way of explaining
There's no way that you're going to be able to verbalize Decrypto.
without having Decrypto.
Yeah.
But they do have an expansion for it. I'm really excited about it. It looks like but instead of, that's actually fun. It's called Laser Drive. So basically what you're doing is before you create your list of words for your clues, you have to draw a category card, and at least one of the clues has to match the category card. So it could be movie titles, it could be tourist attractions, words that begin with A,
Gotcha.
things like
Oh,
that.
you said there was going to be Klingon.
There is a Klingon expansion.
Oh.
Alright.
So, we talk about, like, different booths and things. One booth that everyone should go visit while they're at Gen Con is Yellow. Of all the booths we visited last year, I feel like we all three are in solid agreement that Yellow had the best booth when it came to interaction, how it was laid out, the deals that they had going on. Just, they did, in my opinion, they did Gen Con right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming that they're going to do it again this year. So, especially if you want to try to find new games, Yellow has lots of great games. We have like 11 of their titles already, and I'm guaranteeing we're gonna come home with more.
Battery's done.
So the games that they have kind of coming out. So we just talked about Bunny Kingdom in the Sky. High Risk is
I
another.
don't need to. It's all up there.
They have a lot of like their small games. High Risk is another great game that they have coming out. One that we are all pretty excited about, Ishtar.
Okay, we're skipping to Ishtar. Okay, yes, I'm super excited for Ishtar.
So I'm gonna click on this one.
We got the beta kind of rundown at Origins about Ishtar, and it already looked very cool. So basically, you are creating gardens within. I'm pretty sure that actually might be at Origins. You're creating gardens within the desert. You're creating the is it the Gardens of Babylon?
I believe so. Yes.
Is what it's based on. You're
Babylon?
creating the Gardens of Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very cool. The components, if you enjoy components, you'll like this game.
Yeah. So again, definitely check out Yellow. If you check out, take one booth away from all of this conversation, that's the one to take away. Oh wait, no, I need this. All right. They have an expansion coming out for a game we don't have, but I want to get as well, because it looked really cool, and I like the way the boxes fit together.
The boxes fit together very well.
That's just a expansion for King of Tokyo. Legendary Forest, another quick game that's coming out. This one they've been promoting a lot. I don't know a whole lot about it. It's called Little Town. 2 to 4 players, takes 30-60 minutes. I think it's a work replacement where you're trying to build a city.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a
It's mostly tile placement.
Yeah, it's tile placement, work placement, city building, based in medieval. And then another quick game is Ninja Academy. It's a action dexterity game. It takes about 20 minutes to play.
Well,
So-
you told me a lot about Ninja Academy when you got back from Origins.
Is Ninja Academy the one that I was?
I thought so.
I can't remember all the details about it, but either way, Yellow, definitely visit them, say hello to them.
Dino SOS as well.
Dino SOS is the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
That's one I actually want to play.
Is there another? So that takes care of all the Yellow.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so where do we want to go from here?
Whatever you guys want to talk about.
Okay, well, I have, the next one I have is Calico. And I don't know if any of you know Patchwork, but Patchwork is a 2-player game that allows you to, you create quilts. This is a game for 1 to 4 players, and you make quilts, and it adds cats. So I'm interested, but it's very much it's tile laying and pattern related. I think it looks really cute. I don't know how these two are gonna feel about it, but it's a selection or a set collection and tile placement kind of game. Basically, you pick a tile, and if you're able to create a color group, you can sew a button onto your quilt. If you're able to create a pattern combination that is attracted to the cats, it will come over and curl up on your quilt. So it's a cute theme with quilts. It makes me happy.
I have one. Call to Adventure is a game that we played here as soon as I got it. I backed it on Kickstarter, and you don't have to look this one up. But this is an expansion, and this is Call to Adventure Name of the Wind. So Patrick Rothfuss's fantasy series is called the Name of the Wind trilogy. He's working on the 3rd book, but Call to Adventure, they worked with him specifically to design this Kickstarter to add new heroes and new villains and new abilities and stuff to the base Call to Adventure game. I'm very excited to get it. It was part of my Kickstarter pledge, so I'm going to be getting a copy, but they're going to have them demoing them at Gen Con, so that'll be cool to see. Another one I think we all have is Catan Starfarers. Catan in space, folks! This looks amazing!
I believe this is actually a reprint.
Yes.
They originally did this about 20 years ago, and have decided to reprint it and bring it back.
Yep.
We are super excited.
Yeah.
I have another children's game. It's called Catlantis.
I'm seeing a theme with your games.
Please pull this up purely so they can see the box art.
Okay.
Yep. Catlantis.
He's so happy.
Obviously, I was going to choose this for a children's game.
I have to go pee. I'll take care of this
It
bit.
is 8+. So it is a bluffing game. You're making offerings to other players and hoping that they don't get the resource that you need. It looks adorable. There are puns involved. It's called Catlantis, and it's a cat with a mermaid tail.
Yes.
I mean, come on. I could not choose it. And it's gonna be like $17. So it's not super expensive. It's got some meeples involved in it. I'm gonna take over his thing. So here are the... I mean, this is an adorable game. I mean, come on. Look at this. I think it's adorable.
The next thing that I have is Cuzco, which is a bigger game. It's 90 minutes. It's basically a reskin of a game called Java that took place in France, and they're just moving it to South America, sort of the Central America, Northern South America, like Machu Picchu type aesthetic. There's alpacas on the cover, and it's just like a hardy game, but the reason it caught my eye is the quality of the pieces. Like it's a lot like Mexica. This stuff looks great, and there are hexes, there are meeples, there are temples. I'm just super into this game for the components alone. So that's why it caught my attention.
You keep doing this again.
I took your job for a
Go
second.
for it. Take it. I'll hold my cat.
Okay.
You can jump to Cloud Spire. Or whatever you want.
Yeah, we can jump to Cloudspire. Alright, so my next one, and I don't know what...
Look at that
do you-
temple!
Do you have anything in between? Oh yeah, you did. You had a bunch of stuff.
I'm sorry. I mean, again, we don't have to talk about every single thing. Days of Wonder has a new game coming out.
Pulling up.
Days of Wonder makes really great games. They make games like Ticket to Ride and Five Tribes. Their components are always really good. Usually have really great mechanics. This particular one is I think it's a dice drafting.
Yeah.
You should say what the mechanic is. Yeah, it's dice rolling, and you're trying to get certain things to. I believe it's to build a city. I'm sorry, I don't actually have the full information on this one real quick. You're trying to sell goods, so you're trying to collect dice, which gives you certain goods. Then you're trying to sell them to get points. Person with most points wins. But yeah, I'm interested in it just because, like I said, I didn't know a whole lot about it, but because Days of Wonder makes really great games, it's why it's one that caught my attention.
Yes. You want to talk about any of those? Curious?
I think so. So, AEG makes a lot of great games as well. They have Curios, which is a game where everyone is playing, rival archaeologist, and you're trying to sell artifacts of different things on the black market. But you're collecting them from different places, like a temple or a pyramid or a shipwreck, and the market kind of changes as you sell things. So it is a bluffing deduction game, and you're also trying to, like, there's also like an auction kind of part of it too. So you're trying to sell things when they're high, but driving prices of other things. So it's competitive, and you're each playing rival archaeologists. And like I said, the components just look really cool because they have like gems and things depending on what you're actually doing.
I like it.
So that is Curios, and you guys just talked about.
I'm getting ready to put in Cloudspire. So this is one that I picked up and was looking at. It's a strategy game. It's cooperative. It has dice rolling. And, I mean, it looks just kind of massive. I'm excited to get a rundown of it.
It did look very big. I was trying to see if it had a picture of how large everything was, but it doesn't.
Honestly, there are a lot of really big games that are on this list that I was very into a lot of them, but I tried to be as picky as possible and still ended up with 37 games on my list.
I was not picky because I was kind of panicking.
One game that I found that I thought was pretty cool, it's called Diceum, and this is actually 4 games in one. It takes the same mechanics for all 4 of the different versions of the game, but each mechanic in the different version obviously has a different action aligned with it. There's Crazy Cup, which is you're racing through the Grand Canyon. They have Dungeon, where you're trying to loot a dungeon. Civilization, where you're trying to like conquer areas. And then they have Shogun, which is like player versus player. But all 4 of the games use the same like mechanics, the same dice rolling and stuff. It's just depending on which game you're playing, you're obviously doing different stuff. But just like that combination of 4 very different ideas being included in the same game, I thought was very unique.
Alright, the next game that I want to talk about, and I'm surprised, and this one's not on Derek's list, and I'm not sure why it's not. And the reason why I'm saying that is I'm going to read you a paragraph from the description of this. It's called Dragon Scales. So, this description in the middle says, Dragon Scales is a game of villainy and treasure grabbing where players are sinister villains, each with their own unique advantages, tactics, and styles. Show your strength by slaying the dragons while grabbing as much treasure as possible, or maybe you will find an opportune moment and rush for the exit, leaving your allies to be consumed by the dragon's rage.
Well, that would be because I didn't come across this, Steven, and I am very interested in it, and I will be purchasing it. Because, fuck you guys.
But like I said, when I read that, I'm like, oh wow, this is I do think we'd all have fun with it, but I'm like, that's a game that I think Derek would love this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's called Dragon Scales. If you want to add it to your list, Derek.
I will. I think the next thing we all have,
we
don't have to talk about it, but it is the expansion to Villainous, and it includes Scar, Yzma, and Ratigan from Great Mouse Detective, and I'm so hyped. The next time we play Villainous on stream, I will be playing 2 characters, and I will manage them both, because I will not be able to choose.
We all have this one on our list as well. This is one that people are really looking forward to.
It just got funded on Kickstarter. It is a worker placement. It is hujunga.
Yeah, it is highly ranked on Board Game Geek. It's like an 8.8, I think.
And you're not going to be able to buy it at Gen Con, but they are going to have walkthroughs available at their booth, like limited things, so you can see the game and see what the mechanics are.
I mean,
but like, look at that. That's part of the deluxe version on Kickstarter, where you get the minis. But like, this game as a whole is huge, but it's so well organized and so well put together. I'm very excited to see it. I didn't back it on Kickstarter because it was kind of pricey just before leaving for Gen Con, but I am absolutely planning on at least trying to pick it up when it does come out.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next one for me. Okay, you guys have other ones.
Talk about it.
Here.
No.
Do-
Skip that one.
Here, you got which one?
Uh,
This one you all were talking about. I did not pick this one.
This is a game called Ecos, and what drew me to this one was I was reading the thing, and it says gameplay in Ecos is simultaneous. So each round, one player reveals element tokens from their bag, and it gives all of the players the opportunity to complete a card that they're using, at the same time. So it may not work for our stream, but I thought that was interesting that you're sort of playing a game, but everybody's going and doing their things at one time to build a tableau of a new world. It's taking that idea of Pangea, where all of the continents were together and then they separated. You're getting the opportunity to build your own after Pangea effect, but everybody is acting at the same time, so you have to make sure that your actions are aligning with what everybody else is doing. So it's just an interesting concept to me, and that's why I put it on the list.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one actually. Do you have any that you want to talk? Okay, we'll go to this one. This one actually came out last year at Gen Con, and I regret so much not buying this game.
Well, it was sold out except for the really expensive deluxe edition that they had.
Which I wanted.
I understand, but it was expensive, and we had already spent so much money.
Do either of you want to talk about it?
I don't know a whole lot about it other than that the components are real great.
Well.
This is the second printing. I know that.
This is the second printing.
And they also have a new expansion
So
coming out.
it's worker placement, which can trigger other events on the board. The art is absolutely stunning. So worker placement, card drafting, and hand management. I mean, it just.
There's a lot going on, but it's done in the best way possible.
Look at this. It's
just
gorgeous.
looking at it is great.
And they have an expansion. I think it's already out.
Pearlbrook?
Pearlbrook is already out, I believe.
All right, PSP. See you later.
Bye,
Well,
PSP.
They had an expansion that came out last year when it released, and I think this is another one that just came out recently.
So that's that. What do you have? What does everybody have next?
Next is Pirates for me.
All right.
Extraordinary Adventures.
So, on the stream, we have played Railroad Rivals, and we have played Raccoon Tycoon. Both of those games are from Forbidden Games. Last January or February, I think, Forbidden Games successfully kickstarted Extraordinary Adventures Pirates, and they're going to have it at Gen Con for you to play as well as purchase, and it just looks great because you are pirates and you are racing through this map to try and collect treasure, but you also need to be the first one that makes it to the end of the map. It just looks great, and Forbidden Games has yet to let me down, so I'm definitely going to buy this one. Just because it looks very fun and competitive.
Okay.
All right. Oh, now we have a cat behind us.
We do. I don't need to talk about that. Don't need to talk about those.
I mean, I have
We
one.
already played that.
F. I have Foodies.
Ah.
So Foodies is a kind of a quick game where you are playing rival managers of food courts, and you're trying to upgrade your menu and create different dishes.
That guy doesn't work at a food court.
To gather points to be the most supreme restaurant in the food court. It's a very quick game. I think it takes like 20 minutes to play or something. It's from Simon. I thought the art style was kind of cool and different, and it seemed kind of just fun and funky. 2 to 5 players, plays in less than 30 minutes. So I really have about that one.
Another exciting one that I know a lot of people are talking about on Reddit and Twitter. It's called the Hall of the Mountain King. It is a larger game. Again, I do enjoy the big games. But basically, there's a bunch of dwarves going back to take back their kingdom in the mountain. But the components to this game look crazy. See if you can, like... So you're getting different things to help your dwarf make it through the dungeon, but you're also discovering the dungeon as you come through there, and then, like, there's meeples. Look at those guys. Like, this is a game that a lot of people are talking about as far as, like, worker placement and everything, and it's high up on a lot of people's list.
Okay. I don't have to say pull it up. We can talk about it real quick. Grim Masquerade, or do you have things for that?
I don't have anything that's...
We played Grim Masquerade last week.
Yeah,
it just came out last week as well.
It's actually not. The boat got delayed, so
Oh no, they're not going to have it?
they're gonna have some copies of it. But even if you don't get a chance to buy it, definitely check it out, play it. Meet James, one of the designers. Great guy, doing a lot for the industry. But it's a great game, Grim Masquerade. It's the one where we played with Paul. It's where you are fairy tale creatures and you try to figure out who everyone else is. It's definitely a great, different type of deduction. James actually did a live stream, like Q&A, and he was talking about the game, and he was saying how sometimes his favorite thing to be was getting eliminated or eliminating himself because of the way you can affect the other game. Affect the game, you can still win the game that way.
Mm-hmm.
I have Honey Buzz. I don't have a lot of information on it. We're going to play that at Gen Con on my list.
Ding dong.
My Can Miles, thank you so much for joining the neighborhood. Thank you for that
Welcome.
follow.
That puts us
Welcome.
like 8 away from
8
our
away
goal.
from our goal.
8 more people is all we need
And we'll do a giveaway
when we come back from
when we
Gen Con.
come back from Gen Con. Next up, I have Isle of Cats on my list. It's not going to be... You can't buy it at Gen Con, but it did just get funded on Kickstarter. We talked about it in Derek's Kickstarter corner. They're going to have it there for you to look at. I think they're going to be able to play it at the booth a little bit.
Yes.
It just looks like an interesting game where you're collecting cats on this island before the god of the cats comes to collect them. I mean, look at those cats. All those different cats are in this box, and that's crazy.
I didn't realize that there was a boat.
Look at the cats!
You gotta fit them all on there.
Yeah, that looks pretty amazing. Wow.
But they're going to have it there for you to play at the booth. The cats, there's so many different aspects to the game.
That's amazing.
Another game that I had that I actually got turned on to this afternoon as I was looking through stuff. People were talking about it on Reddit as well as on Board Game Geek. It's called King's Dilemma. There are people that are sort of up in the air. They're waiting to see it at the booth. But basically, you are different families who are trying to influence the king to try and successfully run this country. And you can make decisions that will affect the end of the game. They said that it's like pseudo-legacy, where if you do one thing, it's going to affect what happens towards the end. But, like, you can end up making the wrong decision and it leads to, like, famine. You can end up getting into arguments with the other families that are trying to complete their own personal goals. I don't know if Megan specifically is going to be into it because there is an element of, like, bluffing and, like, trying to get your own stuff done
Better with...
but you also have to screw other people over in the process. But it's just something that people are talking about, and those were the games that I was sort of drawn to. We talked about Little Town a bit. Do you have...
My next one's an M1.
I had a few that were ahead of those, but they're not anything.
So, the next one that I think we all have on our list is one that we played on stream. It is from our friends at Resonum. It is Mechanica.
It is great. We got to play it when it was still on Kickstarter. Obviously, we all know Cabrin Ray. She helped design this game and play test this game, and it's just so great.
It's so cute.
You're building little Roombas, and trying to distribute them.
Bye, Catskills. Have a good night.
One of the
Catskills.
best parts about this game is that it plays in the box. Like, you leave most of the stuff in the box and play within there, and then you have your own personal board that you get to mash puzzle pieces together. It's just such a good game. If you have the opportunity, go watch the episode where we played it. It was so great, and we are very happy that it got funded. I'm very excited to get my copy. I'm very excited for people to get to play it at Gen Con. It's just a really great, unique game.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about a game that most people aren't going to care about so much, but this is the one from Loki, and we will have. I need to message her, but we will have a lot more information on the Yellow and Loki games when we come back from Gen Con that we'll be able to give you. But I want to show you all this one. It's called Monsieur Carousel, and this game. It's for little ones. It's a matching game, but it's a game that grows with your kids. And I think that is the... Thank you. That is the most interesting thing to me. But look at this. So not only can your child match the colors with the characters, because all of these will be flipped over and you roll the dice and you have to try and find them, but then if they get it correct, they get to place sunbeams, but all of the sunbeams are different sizes, so they have to decide what is able to fit in there, so it gets kind of mathy as well. But the carousel itself is...
That's great.
Absolutely amazing. It's
a full
all
size.
wooden. It's an absolutely beautiful game. If you have little ones, I highly suggest this one. Check it out. They'll have it there at Yellow's booth, but it is through their, I guess, sister company, which is Loki, which is their new kids division. Yeah. All right. What do we got?
A lot of this stuff I can skip over. I'm going to go look at it, but I don't know a whole lot about it. Machikoro Legacy. We have played Machikoro here. We enjoy legacy games. This is both of those things. I'm going to buy it. We are going to play it.
Oceans, which
we talked about the Kickstarter. It's the sequel. It's the sequel to Evolution. It's going to be there. It's gorgeous.
We talked about Potemkin Empire.
Potemkin Empire was on our Kickstarter thing. Our friend Jonathan that we were talking about earlier that we met last year, he was the designer of this game. You can buy this one at Gen Con, and I don't think it's that expensive, and I think you're going to get a good game for your money. So check this one out.
I'm going to pull this one up. Alright, so this is a game that was on Kickstarter when we were at Gen Con last year, and Derek and I got the full rundown on this one.
I don't know where I was.
You were with us, but you were talking to somebody else.
You had walked away. You walked away because you weren't interested in it at the time. But basically, you're given these little square cubes that are different characters, and depending on whether your character is standing up or whether it's on its side, gives you different powers on your player mat. These pieces, and these are all painted, but these pieces are absolutely amazing.
It's legit. When he showed us last year, it was in the post-beta, they were getting ready to go on Kickstarter, and it's
they come,
it's crazy.
They come unpainted, so you can paint them yourselves, but these pieces are beautiful.
And they're detailed.
They're very easy to paint. They're about this big.
So they're big cubes.
And they roll, and what your goal is to roll them, so flip them over to get to your places to do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very interesting game. I'm looking forward to
seeing the new version.
The new version that wasn't the beta version that they put on Kickstarter. I mean,
look at those.
Come on.
Those are great.
The components in it, it's a very neat game. I mean, again, I'm excited to look at it again and kind of see more about what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Reavers of Midgard is the sequel to Champions of Midgard. We've played Champions here. I think we all love Champions of Midgard. Reavers
It's top 5 game for me.
Yeah. Reavers is not the same kind of game, but it's jumping off that same idea. But this one's going to be about sailing the ocean and looking for monsters and stuff. Like, obviously the art is as good as the first one. But I'm definitely interested in, like, I'm almost like 100% on buying this game. Just because I love Champions so much.
Yeah.
It just looks quality.
They were hyping this at Gen Con last year.
Yeah, they were talking about they had it ready. They were doing, their play testing on it. But I'm very excited to get my hands on it this year.
Other things that I...
There's a Spider-Man game coming out. I don't know a whole lot about it, other than it's called Sinister Six, and it's about the villains, and it has Kraven the Hunter, it has Sandman, Gobby, Venom, Dr. Octopus, and Electro. You get to play as those villains. I'm going to play this game at Gen Con, and I'm probably going to buy it at Gen Con because I love Spider-Man.
So apparently, and I found this before the stream, and Derek apparently had it on his.
Yes.
Subterra
Yes.
has another game out.
It's a sequel to Subterra.
Yeah. Is it a sequel or is it an expansion?
I'm not sure. I think it's a sequel, but I think you can play it with Subterra.
It could be a standalone or an expansion.
Right.
So
I think that's what it is.
We played Subterra.
It's 2 words.
We played Subterra on the stream. And it was a game that Derek and I got at the very, end of their Kickstarter.
Uh-huh.
But this looks...
Instead of a cave, you're in a
pretty
volcano.
cool.
It looks so much better, and I already love Subterra.
So, I'm looking forward to seeing this one there.
Alright. So... I have only a few more left on my list. I'm going to just kind of lump some of them together.
Yeah.
So I'm somebody that I like company. The company behind a game, speaks a lot for me. And Druid City has a game that they had on Kickstarter that we didn't actually back, but we thought about backing, called Tidal Blades. It's going to be there, so you can actually look at that. And also, them along with Skybound has a thing called Wonderland Wars that's coming out.
I don't know anything about either of these games, so I'm very interested.
Well, I think you'd like Tidal Blades because it has a lot of deep lore, where they're thinking about doing like a tabletop RPG based off of the lore in the game.
Sure.
And then Wonderland Wars is an Alice in Wonderlands themed game. Suro, which we have Verga Suro, there's also Suro of the Sea, and now there's going to be a new one called Suro Phoenix Rising that's coming out. And the last thing that I want to talk about is there is a Vampire the Masquerade Vendetta board game coming out. So it's going to be a board game set in the world of Vampire the Masquerade.
It just got backed on Kickstarter a couple months ago.
Yeah.
All 3 of us have We're Doomed.
We're Doomed and Wingspan are both on all of our lists, I'm sure.
Wingspan is the big one this year. Not necessarily at Gen Con, but it's already out.
It came out just after Gen Con last year. So it intrigues me that it's still such a big deal at Gen Con this year.
I don't think that it did.
Yeah, it didn't. It came out after Gen Con, but they had a copy there that they were showing people.
Gotcha. Because that it came out and then sold out.
Yeah, but it was right after Gen Con.
So We're Doomed. I don't actually remember what this was actually about.
So this one is...
Oh.
It's a party game.
I picked it.
Do you want to talk about it?
It is a party game, 4 to 10 people. But basically, you're working together to try and build a starship to save humanity from dying when the Earth dies. But the thing is that each person has their own, you have your own special goals that you're trying to get onto the ship. Like, do you want food, or do you want science, or do you want just people? So it's interesting because everybody is trying to get everything else onto this to create this ship. It just looks like a very fast-paced, different kind of party game, other than Cards Against Humanity or Red Flags or something like that. It just looks like a more interesting concept to me.
Honestly, I think that's gonna do it for our. I think we got through everything.
We skipped over some small things.
We skipped over some small ones. There are so many things that are coming out that we're so excited for.
Like I said,
we could have spent the entire stream talking about it.
We talked about maybe 40 games. There is just on the Board Game Geeks watch list. There's 620 on that list, and that's not even a complete list of all the games that are coming out.
Yeah. So we
Go
are.
back to this. Hey, look at it! It's us.
We're super excited.
Again,
Somebody
if
else
you have
talk.
any questions about Gen Con, we'll try to keep up the Discord. Also, follow us on our socials. We'll do everything we can to keep that up to date. We are super happy, super excited, and we're super looking forward to meeting all you guys. I know a lot of you guys want to get over and watch the Vampire Masquerade thing that Taliesin is running tonight on Critical Role. So
It's not Vampire the Masquerade. It's Cthulhu.
No, it's Cthulhu.
Oh, Cthulhu. I'm sorry. Call it Cthulhu. So we will... Actually, we'll just raid them. Might as well. Take everyone over there to
Send
them.
everybody over.
Yeah.
But keep an eye on our socials.
Oh, it's okay, Chloe. It's alright. Just
hey,
don't...
no worries, love.
Just don't ask any questions.
Be here. Just be here at 10 on Wednesday.
Be here at 9:30 on Wednesday. But yeah, so follow us on our socials.
Oh, he's coming
We love
here?
you guys.
Yeah.
Why don't we just go pick him up? Tutors is
Oh,
on the way.
yeah, we could just come pick you
yeah,
up.
we could come pick you up.
Tutors is on the way. You don't need to come here.
Clay, we will
We
pick
can
you
figure
up.
this. We can figure this out later.
Yeah. Alright, anyways, we love you guys. We're going to rate Critical Role.
If we're going to see you at Gen Con, be safe traveling. If you're not going to be at Gen Con, we will see you after. We'll see you next week. We want you all to be safe. We love you all very much. We are going to have a lot of fun.
We want you to have a lot of fun.
I'm on vacation. That's a reminder to you and to these two. This is a vacation.
Oh yeah, still have a little man in my. But we're super excited, and we can't. For those of you who are going to be there, we can't wait to meet you, in real life. Thank you to our new followers who followed us today. We're still 8 people away from our goal, so if you are tagging here on the end, consider hitting that follow button so you know when we go live again.
We usually play video games, or we usually play
play
board
board
games, not just
It's
talk
not as
about them.
hectic.
Yeah, we usually don't talk about anything.
Yes, we'll try and keep, like I said, follow us on our socials. We'll try and keep them updated. That is my goal
Alright, but either
of
way,
the weekend.
we love you guys. Have a lovely week. We'll follow us on our socials and we'll keep you up to date. Bye, guys.
What happened to peace?
Bye!